following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op.
Hello, and welcome to the Caitlyn Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Caitlyn Clark. To my left, Harry.
What's goody?
I gotta think of something. I gotta think of some consistent name to call you, man. Lazy Lampoon.
What's wrong with
I can't.
Harry?
It's not just Harry, man. He's too cool to be just Harry.
Harold?
Harold. You're Harold when it comes to
Harold
sports. You sound like Professor Harold.
I'll take it.
All right. And behind the camera, joining us, since Joe cannot be here, Tank of the Tank Talk podcast. There you go.
Start
Boom.
from the top. Do this over again.
No. It's all right. That's all right.
Thanks for having me, guys.
You can take. You want to say it? Say it better. You want to put some more energy into it?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Pronounce
joining
podcast.
you today on today's edition of the Trap Nerd Sports Podcast, host of the Tank Talk podcast, Tank Lettieri. Thanks for having me, fellas.
Of course.
How
man.
we doing?
Thanks for being here. So yeah, we took a couple weeks off with the football season coming to a close, but it's back to starting. 2 weeks. 2 weeks of a kind of a slow period. I wouldn't even say a full 2 weeks. We weren't here for 2 weeks, but I'd say there was about 10 days after the Super Bowl, and then NFL's right back to it. News every day, franchise tags, draft stuff. I wouldn't say huge releases. There's no huge players, I don't think, hitting the market from releases, but I think there's been a lot of guys who can be impact players on new teams next year. So I'm just going to go down this list from everything we missed and just taking off a 14-day break. And I'm only going to name the big names here, semi-big names, guys who can be starters. The 13th?
That's coming up in like a week.
Yeah. So, starting in February, Cody Whitehair, guard for the Chicago Bears. Eddie Jackson, free safety for the Chicago Bears.
Forgot about him already.
Jimmy Garoppolo. Nelson Aguilar signed a one-year contract extension, did not get released. Let's get Lawrence Guy released from the Patriots. Adrian Phillips released. Darian Kennard, Tracy Walker. And Matt Ariza finally gets a team with the Kansas City Chiefs. Geno Smith's converting some money. Whole bunch of stuff. Emmanuel Ogbah. Xavier Howard. What are some other big names? Bunch of releases that I think.
Christian Wilkins ain't going back to Miami, is he? I know he didn't get released, but.
They haven't tagged him yet, but I think they said he is a candidate for a tag.
If he hits the market, that'll be huge.
Yeah, because Chris Jones re-signed or got tagged or something like that.
They
or they
tagged
haven't.
Snead.
They tagged, but they didn't give him the. They didn't give him the actual franchise tag. They gave him the one they gave Lamar, the non-exclusive. Yeah.
They're saying maybe a
there's
D2
so many
pick
now.
would be enough to get Snead in a trade.
MVS got released despite having a huge playoff. Laken Tomlinson, Kevin Beard, Logan Thomas, J.C. Jackson, Alexander Madison, and Ryan Bates gets traded from the Bills to the Bears. And then we had a bunch of guys get franchise tagged. So the biggest names, Jalen Johnson, Mike Evans. Who am I missing? Oh, I forgot. Russell Wilson. He got released.
He gone.
That's a good place to jump off of because quarterback carousel, once again, is going to be a huge topic this year. We thought there was going to be bigger markets for these guys, though. Like we thought there was going to be a race for Justin Fields. We thought that Kirk Cousins might get a bunch of interest, but it seems like none of these guys are getting any interest.
Yeah, I don't know what. I guess it'll heat up once it all opens up, though. They probably all have those teams probably all have a plan. Like I read something like Kirk Cousins is buying a house or something in Atlanta, so that's already looking like he might be going there. Like who knows what's going to happen? We just got to wait till it opens up.
Yeah, Mike Florio today was saying that because I guess he spoke with his wife and even Kirk Cousins himself at it was either Media Row week at Super Bowl or the Combine. Either one of those, he spoke to them recently, and his wife, Kirk Cousins' wife, actually has her family lives in Atlanta. So I guess they were looking into some homes, or maybe today it came out that they were looking in like the educational system for their kids. So I don't know if you could sign the dotted line for Kirk Cousins heading to Atlanta, but that's what it's leaning towards right now. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. And then I see something that I mean, I've seen all types of reports, but the last one I seen today was that Pittsburgh wasn't interested in Russell Wilson or Fields. It seems more likely that they're going to ride out Pickett and Rudolph, which I don't know. I think they should take a chance on like Russell Wilson or something, but I mean, I guess we'll just have to see it all play out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the stats were up for Russ last year, but it's wild how people in the NFL must think of him because theoretically, you can sign him for the league minimum. You can sign him for $1 million a year because he's getting $40 million from the Bears next year. Or the Broncos,
Yeah,
my
he took
bad.
the biggest dead cap hit
It
ever.
was double.
Yeah.
So Matt Ryan was the previous. It was something like $42 million.
Thank God we put that in the past.
And Russ is at $85 million dead cap over the next 2 years. So realistically, a team can sign him for the vet minimum. And you would think this guy's 9-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion in the past. I get he had some rough years in Denver, but I mean, like if you're any of these teams who just need a quarterback for 1 year, the fact that you just haven't heard a whole bunch of teams coming out like lining up to sign this guy for $1 million. I don't know if we've ever seen a fall from grace from a quarterback this quickly. I mean, when he traded for 2 first-round picks, a second, Shelby Harris and Drew Lock 2 years ago to no one even wanting and Noah Fant to no one even wanting him for $1 million a year, which I'm sure he will be signed. I'm not saying he's going to be out of the league, but I mean, the Bills might have him as a fucking backup before that guy gets a starting job.
For sure. Like, I mean, like I said, when it all opens up, I think we'll hear more. But like, I just feel like you would see like a longer list of teams that are ready to go after Fields, go after Wilson, and it's really just been like Atlanta, different rumors with Pittsburgh, and then who else was up there for Fields? New England, you said would be a play like maybe go after Wilson.
I think the two biggest odds were Pittsburgh and Atlanta, and I think Pittsburgh's pretty out on that. And I think Atlanta is seeing what happens with Kirk. I think they're gonna offer him the biggest contract. I mean, they don't really have any big contracts on that team. The Vikings are gonna have to find a way to sign him and also keep money because Jefferson's probably gonna make $35 million a year. You know.
Yeah, that's what they're working on right now. I think his projection is gonna be like 35 or something. That's what I've seen at least.
Yeah.
And so keeping that in mind too, they got to pay him. What do you think of maybe Minnesota going after Russ, knowing that they only got to give him the vet minimum of $1 million?
I think the reason Cousins would pick Atlanta over Minnesota is he knows this is probably his last big payday, and he doesn't want. I think I can see Minnesota drafting a quarterback at 11, and then being like, okay, Kirk, this is your job for 2 years. But that putting a cap on, I mean, then maybe this isn't what happens. But if you're Kirk, you're like, I don't know, just because I'm a little bit older, that doesn't mean I want to just play 2 more years. And then where Atlanta has been so quarterback thirsty, they might fucking offer him a 4-year.
Yeah,
they might. He's apparently people are saying he's a great businessman. As much as he comes off on TV as being all holier than thou and very good guy, he's a very shrewd businessman apparently. So I think I'm calling Atlanta. Atlanta can give him the most years. They've shown they don't want to draft these quarterbacks. They've had high draft picks for the past 4 or 5 years. They're not using them on quarterbacks. They don't want to get a young guy. I think Cousins to Atlanta is the most likely out of any of these quarterback scenarios. And then for Minnesota, if they do want to draft a guy, I don't think anyone's going to be ready there. So maybe get Russ for a year, but I don't know if Russ can even hold back the lower tier guys like McCarthy, Nix, and Penix, if he's looking this bad.
I don't know. I mean, it's a tough situation, but you think if you give him guys like, because he's got to know himself, like, okay, well, I'm already making 40-something million off a team I'm not even playing for right now, so I'm in a good situation there. I'm sort of on a prove-it deal with a pretty decent team. This offense had Nick Mullins throwing for 400 yards last season, and the Pastronaut didn't even know our plays, and we were winning some games. So if you bring Russell Wilson in with his experience, I know it's recency bias. past 2 seasons haven't been all that great with him, so that's our recent memory of Russell Wilson. But I mean, he's still got experience, right? He maybe he could do something with his offense with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson.
He'll be back at some point.
You know what I mean? So I mean, for $1 million, why not? You can still pay Justin Jefferson. If they end up paying Kirk Cousins, that's like $70 million in your cap just for 2 players. So
Right.
I think you could pretty much seal the deal on Kirk Cousins leaving. It's probably going to be Atlanta.
So.
I haven't seen Washington in the mix too.
I did see that
I don't know how realistic that one's going to be, but
I did see that though.
If I'm Kirk, I mean, I've been preaching how nice that Atlanta job would look as a quarterback for like a year. I mean, their offensive line is one of the best in the league. You got so many young targets, and the defense. They didn't play great last year, but a lot of that could probably be attributed to their offensive struggles. You're not going to go. It's where the Vikings tried giving up every lead that Kirk gave them.
Right.
Atlanta, you got people to throw the ball to, and the defense isn't going to do you how the defense in Minnesota was a couple of years ago.
yeah.
Plus, they can pay you a ton of money. But tying in, just going back to Russ, and then we go to Sean Payton, and it's like, even though we hate Russ on this pod, Sean Payton.
Oh, is this a hate Russ podcast?
Yeah. I mean, more so 2 years ago, because everyone.
That's right.
Everyone was like, "Oh, Russ is still elite." Blah blah blah.
In all the primetime games and shit.
Yeah, and Joe hated him the most, to give him credit, but me and Harry were not high on him. Like I think we all picked Denver to be last in the AFC West last year, and then I got into an argument in like Donnie's fantasy league because I was saying that Russ is not a top 10 guy. A couple people in that league were like, "Oh, he's better than Herbert and shit." So
Right,
we felt very vindicated when he started struggling, but his coaches weren't the greatest apparently, because nobody liked Sean Payton. If any of the reports from the combine can be true, every single quarterback that was up there getting interviewed, they'd ask about, how'd you feel about the Bears? How'd you feel about Washington? And they would. I'm not saying they're trained guys, you know. They're just saying nice things, and then they would get to, how'd you feel about the Broncos? And it was like, and I think it was Penix who literally like chuckled. I
can see it, bro.
I think it was Penix, and he's like, "Oh, they have a real unique way of doing things over there, like tiptoeing around it." So maybe Sean Payton's just a problem, man. I mean, and that's another. How much fucking money is this team going to throw at people who are just complete and utter failures?
Yeah,
they got to pay $85 million to Russ to not do anything for their team for the next year, and now they're stuck. I mean, those coaching contracts, you can't release coaches. You can't fire a coach in the NFL without having to pay them.
Even if you do, you still got to pay him. Frank Reich is getting paid from 2 teams right now. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so Carolina's definitely the worst fan to be a team of right now, but
yeah, Denver's up there.
Denver's got to be like number 2, man. I mean,
it's so funny because it's the 2 richest teams in the league. Like, they got all this money to spend, so I think that's why they're comfortable. Like, okay, if we fuck up, all right, we're moving on for repair. On to the next.
And they were saying like Jarrett Stidham has a legit chance to be Denver's starting quarterback next year.
That's why a lot of people hated Russ, because Stidham played better than him like down the stretch. But
how do you even go into a season saying like Jarrett Stidham could be our guy? That he's proven that he stinks.
Really selling your fan base.
Yeah, like that's insane.
Like, what's the best case scenario for Denver? They draft J.J. McCarthy and he's better than anyone thinks. Like, otherwise Stidham, like, none of the free agents are going there. I mean, maybe if Chicago like has to trade Fields at this point, and if he has no say in the matter, like maybe he gets traded to Denver, but
maybe
he doesn't fit anything that Sean Payton's ever done before. So
they're gonna end up just drafting somebody, whether it's that first round pick, which I don't think they're going to. Maybe they just go second round, maybe go like a Bo Nix or somebody. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that. They have to do something. They can't just roll with Stidham like as their big thing. They have to have something to fall back on. Like, even if they start Stidham, they have like Bo Nix. They can put in like week 5 or something. I don't know.
My favorite part about all this is the way all these quarterbacks just tie into each other. It's like you got Kirk Cousins now. If we're right and he goes to Atlanta, that's just the worst thing that could possibly happen to Justin Fields, because they're not going to trade him in division, so he's not going to Minnesota. And then it's like all you have left after that is the Steelers, the Patriots, and who else? And the
The
Broncos.
Raiders, maybe the Raiders aren't in on
The
any of this?
Raiders, I mean, they got to be in on somebody, or they're probably going to hit the draft too. But
Yeah.
I don't know. They're not going to stick with Aiden O'Connell. Maybe he's their week 1 starter, but I think that's more likely if they draft someone like later in the round. I don't know. So I think they definitely should be in some type of market.
I do have thoughts about the Raiders, but it would have to a lot would have to happen. But just going back to Fields, it's like if Kirk Cousins goes to Atlanta, that's I mean Atlanta's probably the best place for him success wise, and then now you're talking about you really need someone to get hurt, or you need to go to a terrible situation, or you're just going to be a backup. No. And I was thinking that he might be worth a first-round pick in the past, and I'm like, are they even going to get a third-round pick for him? Like, where is he going to go? Which then leads to, like, guys like Dak Prescott and stuff who are asking for $60 million. It's like there's so many quarterbacks now. Why would you pay a guy like Dak Prescott $60 million?
That's just the money they got. It's like, I know it's like crazy for us to see, but like the more money they're bringing in with this cap space, like I'm sure Denver's not even worried about the $80 million. If they see this cap space keep going up, it's going to be nothing to them.
Yeah, as you just mentioned, the cap space is projected to jump by like $30 to $32 million in the next year. So if you're just going
Amazon bought one playoff game for $120 million. One playoff game.
Yeah. If you're just going off of percentage of cap, $60 million is like pretty market. But I've been saying this for a while. I say it about the NBA all the time. Max contracts should be for max impact. I mean, and Dak Prescott, great player. Probably was the MVP before Week 12 of last year. But $60 million? For what? When you could go get fucking Justin Fields for a second-round pick every year. I mean, next year's not as strong, but you got another 2 or 3 elite guys probably coming out next year.
Yeah, we don't even know about yet.
No teams are going to pay him that. If you put him on the market, we were just talking about there's no market for fucking all these other guys who aren't as good as Dak, admittedly. But you think you're going to walk into this quarterback market and someone's going to give you $60 million? And if you do, I promise you're not going to be on a team as good as the Cowboys. Who's going to give you the money? The Patriots? That's about it. That's where your market ends.
They got bread.
That's where your market ends. Maybe Minnesota, they can't give him $60 million because they're going to get fucking. I don't understand. But it just all ties together. Dak's going to get $60 million because Jerry Jones is gonna like not think about all this stuff, and he's like, I got to keep my quarterback.
And he's got a sweet goatee now.
Speaking of Dallas, I guess Trey Lance is a guy like a team I think Minnesota was looking at. Yeah. So he's someone to keep an eye on as well. I don't know.
If I'm the fucking Cowboys, man, I'm telling Dak like, here's 45. If you don't want it, go ahead. I'm seeing how Lance plays. If he's awful, we get a top pick next year. Maybe Quinn Ewers or Shadir Sanders like break out next year, or 2 years from now you got like Arch Manning and those guys coming out. No, come on, like let's be serious here. Who has won a Super Bowl not on their rookie contract, much less $60 million? Mahomes, Matt Stafford. Who else? No one. All these guys who win the Super Bowl are on rookie contracts. You're not winning a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott making $60 million. He's not a top 5 guy.
You're not gonna win a Super Bowl with him no
matter
what you pay him.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't matter.
But back to the Raiders. I think Jaden Daniels to the Raiders might, like, if the Patriots
going to fall that far back.
No, I don't think he's going to fall that far back. I think the Patriots might realize that if they draft a quarterback this year, they're putting him in an awful position. Like, no receiver. I mean, they have a ton of cap if they can try to get like some of these free agent, but there's not that many free agent receivers out there. I could see them trade. What are the Raiders are like 12, 13? Let me look that up to make sure.
Yeah.
They're in the teens, like 10 to teens. Get their get a couple first round picks, get a guy like Neighbors or Dunze at whatever, or Brian Thomas, or name a guy, and build your team through all these picks and maybe go for a quarterback in the future. Jaden Daniels got recruited to Arizona State by Antonio Pierce. Was at the last Raiders game of this year.
This is your guy.
Yeah, I hated Jaden Daniels. I can't believe how good. I thought he was gonna die in the SEC. He was so bad in the Pac-12.
Turned out he was better.
He goes to SEC where all these dudes are like 320 pounds. I'm like, this guy weighs 100. He weighs less than I do. He's gonna get annihilated. No, just wins the Heisman as one of the best years of all time.
That's it.
Yeah, I talk about it often about how we lost Johnny Wilson, who was on a perfect Florida State team. We lost the Heisman winner. We lost multiple, probably future pro guards.
Did you guys have Ricky Purcell too?
Yeah.
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 Oh,
He was
shit.
killing for us.
Y'all
yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did Herm Edwards do, man?
Herm Edwards built a future powerhouse and then ruined it by inviting kids onto the campus for COVID. Dude, I'm telling you,
Oh, shit.
no one cares because no one cares about ASU as a program, but that is a huge what if. Just like a sidebar. I mean, if you just, as non-ASU fans, just go look at that. Like, look at where they were before he got there and look at where they were heading before the whole debacle happened. All those players I just mentioned, plus there's players off the top of my head I can't think of. He was between him and Antonio Pierce were like Antonio Pierce was getting guys from. He was getting he was getting guys to flip from way bigger schools coming to ASU. He was just starting the defensive coordinator. He obviously has the chops to be a really good coach. He's a fucking head coach right now.
Apparently he's got.
Dude, we had former pro athletes at every coaching position. We had Kevin Maywa, or however you pronounce his name, that I believe he played for the Jets. He made a couple all-pro.
The lineman, right?
Yeah, he was our offensive line coach. He was the one who snitched, by the way. Fuck that guy. We had Herm. We had Antonio Pierce. We had every coaching position was ex-pros. We were fucking recruiting like whatever. But just back to the original point, I can see the Patriots saying, hey, we don't want to throw Jaden Daniels into this position where with no O-line, no one to throw the ball to, or J.J. McCarthy, whoever they like more. Fuck it. Let's trade back. Let's get 3 first-round picks, maybe another player, and let's build this team. And as long as we could make the best team in the world, as long as we have Mac Jones at quarterback, we'll still have a top 5 pick next year or 2 years from now, and then we can draft our quarterback. So
What if Drake May fell to 3?
I
don't know if he
after the
catches that.
combine, I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Drake May, even though they didn't work out, like after their interviews and everything, Caleb is like a lock to go 1. I think Drake May is a lock to go 2 now. I know
Throwing at their pro days too, right?
Yeah, so
it's
basically
coming up soon, yeah.
what Caleb, Drake May, Marv Harrison, all these guys, they basically were like, why the fuck am I going to work out a combine, risk an injury, give info to 32 teams when none of them have a chance at drafting me other than the teams I'm going to for private workouts.
Right.
So they're going to work out for the teams who have a realistic chance of drafting them, which I think is pretty smart. But all of the I know the like media wanted to start this Jaden Daniels versus Drake May thing to make a story, but all indications I'm hearing are saying that
Yeah, I don't see
Drake
how
May is number 2.
Yeah, I don't see how May falls past 2. I think that would be a horrible mistake for Washington or whoever picks 2 if Washington was to trade it somehow.
The more I hear about Drake May, man, the more physically, talent-wise, Caleb Williams is superior in physical talent, but fuck Drake May, man, he's got it all, dude.
He's got a lot of Josh Allen and Stroud creativity, like playmaking ability,
and his arm. He's more of like a prototypical 5-tool quarterback. They did say Caleb Williams though, like his hitting, his velocity on the ball is pretty fucking crazy. But all right, let's talk about the draft. Coming up, the combine. I know
it came and went.
It came and went, but it's fucking freaks in this draft. It sucks for teams like the Bills because I think it's like a 15-man draft. I think it's so top heavy. I think we're gonna be talking about like fucking 9 or 10 all pros in this draft, and then like after 16, it kind of.
I think it's gonna be a free for all after like the 15th or 16th pick because there's like the talent pool is like it's insane. Like the wide receiver, to me, just watching the combine and like looking into these players and everything recently, the receiver and the offensive, or no, I'm sorry.
You're right.
Shit,
Offensive
the whole defense, all the positions on the defense, these positions are loaded with talent, bro.
Except for
That
linebacker.
O-line though. There's some huge dudes.
Yeah,
in fucking O-line
and
this year.
Mims and
I don't know
Joel.
if you guys peep, they were moving.
Yeah.
They were moving.
Yeah. Mims and Joel, both. Joel, I believe, is 6'9". Mims is almost 6'8". Both ran under a 4.9 40. Both had, like, I think Mims had, like, a 3-cone shuttle that would have been in, like, the 60th percentile for receivers or something crazy. And being that big, come on. That's what I'm saying. Like, I can honestly see every guy that's projected to go 1 through 10, I can see those guys being future All-Pros. Like, I mean, you got Caleb and Drake May, who are two of the best quarterback prospects since fucking Andrew Luck. You have Jaden Daniels, who is a boom-bust guy for me, I think. If you watch his college tape, he still doesn't throw the ball over the middle too much. He looks to run a little early. I feel like he plays a kind of like Justin Fields, but he's not as big and strong as Justin Fields. Mm-hmm. Not out on the guy, but if he reaches his full potential, could be an amazing quarterback. Then you got fucking Marvin Harrison, Rome Odunze, and Malik Neighbors, all future wide receiver ones in my opinion. Joe Alt, Mims, J.C. Latham, who was like a preseason All-American, who's now like he might not even be he may be the 16th pick. I mean, like. But then after that, it's like there's a lot of workout warriors, but there's a lot of questions. You got guys like Xavier Wilde just broke the record for the 40 time, beat John Ross. But then you look the guys who've been the closest to him, like the top 10 guys, none of them are that good. So how much does the 40-yard dash mean? Especially when you can get a guy like Brian Thomas who ran 0.1 seconds slower, but is 6'3", 215, and Worthy's 160 pounds.
I like Worthy's teammate too. He was
A.D. Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell had a freak day. He's a bigger dude. Xavier Leggett, another guy who ran his shoes burned off.
I seen him on TV. I did not fucking realize like how fucking jacked this guy was. He was like a baby A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf in my. And then like his workouts like followed up on that shit too.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, but I just think it's top heavy. I think receiver's the only position, maybe some corners that you're gonna find.
The kid from Toledo's looking crazy.
Oh, I think he'll be a top 10 pick.
He's doing everything right.
He's my favorite kind of draft.
He's doing everything right ever since back at the Senior Bowl. I guess everyone's just been raving about him. He probably had one of his best games of his season at the Senior Bowl. All the workouts, his numbers are just stellar, and even the character, he's a hell of a dude.
Yeah, me and Harry were saying before we started recording, we're not the biggest fan of the Combine. I'm a fan for entertainment value, but I'm not like looking at the Combine like, look at that guy. We've seen how many workout warriors have we seen, and they've just been complete busts in the NFL. But when the numbers at the Combine match up with like the talent on the field, that's when you get really excited. And Quinyon Mitchell might be, outside of the quarterbacks, like the most overall, and Marv, the most overall player in the draft. I mean, he was locking guys up at Senior Bowl. No one could get a catch on him other than Roman Wilson, who's going to be another pro receiver, probably not second. You know what I mean? Like, he's locking guys up, and 21 bench press for a cornerback, 4.33. I think he ran.
Yeah, he's a beast.
I think he's got everything, man. He's going to be. I think he immediately walks in the NFL and becomes a top corner. He's really fucking good. He's probably my favorite player in the draft.
Speaking of all pros, what's going on with Brock Bowers?
What do you mean?
Like, he's a guy who I believe will be an all pro in the league, but I'm seeing that he could fall to like Cincinnati at like 18.
So the explanations I've been hearing, because all I do is listen to draft podcasts from here until April, is that it's not his talent level. It's just that because there's so many receivers who have the potential of being wide receiver ones, that because of the value, if you're a team who needs a pass catcher, like just say Odunze, let's say he's the third drafted out of the big three. He's probably going to be drafted. The third receiver will probably be drafted around 7, 8, 9. Do you draft Odunze and he's the 38th most highest paid player at his position, or do you draft Bowers and he's immediately like the 7th best player at his position? Oh, okay. So it's kind of like the value. Imagine if you had a guy as talented as like Diggs or Devontae Adams, but you're not paying him. It's almost like the wide receiver is becoming the new quarterback. If the Bills can draft a guy like Brian Thomas and he's a top 10 receiver in 2 or 3 years, now you're paying a guy $10 million and he's outperforming guys that are making 30. Right. It's a huge advantage. So that's what I've seen because Brock Bauer, his workouts have been great. He has the same, like almost all of his body type and is very comparable to Sam Laporta, except he's a way better college player. And we just saw Sam Laporta probably have the best rookie tight end season of all time. Right. So I don't think it's nothing necessarily against him. He's working out fine. His tape is obviously amazing. He's a great prospect. I think just teams are thinking, hey, you can piece that position together maybe a little bit better than you could the receiver position.
I was reading that the Jets might be interested in him. Where are they picking at?
They need to draft a tackle, in my opinion, but I believe
think
they have
I'm
to.
right with you. I don't think they have they got to get one of like a Joe Alt or even one of those second or third option guys.
They get Brock Bowers though would be crazy for them. Like obviously they do need to protect.
Yeah,
Rodgers,
I'm sure Aaron would love that.
Rodgers, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Bowers. But obviously you got to be protected to make it all work.
If they can go into the next season with Garrett Wilson, Brock Bowers, and fucking Devontae Adams. I won't be worried if they have that offensive line. Like it's, dude. Wait, you got a 41-year-old coming off an Achilles, and then how bad that offensive line was last year. So the Jets picked 10. Yeah, man. I mean, you go down. It's like where does he fall? You got the Bears. They're gonna take quarterback. Washington quarterback.
They pick again though, right at 9.
They do. Yeah.
The Bears, I can see doing that because they already have DJ Moore. But also, it's like even if say Rome Odunze's there.
But you're saying that thing about the receivers and the pay and all in the
imagine if you compare Caleb in his first year with DJ Moore and Rome Odunze.
Yeah.
Like having Brock Bowers is fucking cool, but he already got Cole Kmet. He had 700 yards, good amount of touchdowns last year. Like you're fine there.
They got your boy Bob Tonyan too. Yeah.
So, like, just going down the list, quarterbacks probably top 3 unless New England does what I think they might do and trade back, which whoever they trade back with will probably take a quarterback.
Yeah.
Arizona's, you're not passing on Marv if New England doesn't take him. The Chargers, do you take a tight end over Neighbors when Gerald Everett and they're not the best, but they've been producing. The Giants need a receiver. Like, they need a receiver. Tennessee, they have to pick an offensive lineman. Atlanta's already got Kyle Pitts. Chicago again at 9, maybe. I can see it. Jets need an offensive lineman. Minnesota has T.J. Hawkinson. Denver, I mean,
I don't know if that fits because when I do I try to think of like the coaching staff and like not so much the teams need, but what they're trying to build up in terms of how it replicates like their schemes and everything. I just don't know. They might go quarterback. I could see them even going with one of the top corners there for Denver.
I feel like they need everything. They can do whatever there.
That too. Yeah.
Like,
if I'm Denver, I'm getting Quinyon Mitchell and fucking Pat Surtain
either
put together.
Terrion Arnold. You know.
Yeah. Vegas, they just got Michael Mayer last year. Really in the need of a quarterback, especially if they trade up. Like I said, New Orleans, maybe. I mean, they need a bunch of help too. I guess like getting a guy like Bowers at 14 is pretty big. Yeah. I think Indy, if he gets to Indy, I don't know if I don't think he gets past Indy.
No.
I think
if
New
Went
Orleans.
to Cincy, that'd be gross.
I'd puke.
That'd be disgusting.
Insane.
I don't think he gets past Indianapolis unless you guys really are like maybe Quinyon Mitchell falls there like. You guys need a corner really bad. You guys need tight end. You guys don't need receiver now. You tagged Pittman. Downs looked really good last year. Pierce still makes plays.
They still have questions about Pierce, like his consistency, but I think his like athleticism and the way he makes open space for himself. If you get him more involved in the play calling and the schemes, like he's going to be solid.
He's your wide receiver 3. If he's not the greatest, you can replace him easily next year. It's not a big deal.
Like I do think they should get another receiver just for depth wise because that was one of the problems they had last year. But corner is at the tippy top of the list. But if fucking Brock Bowers is there, he'd be hard to pass up to.
Yeah, I think with how many teams need receivers and offensive linemen, that's where it starts to get interesting. I think the first 10 picks are pretty, unless there's a trade. I think the first 10 picks are pretty like. Yeah. So they're going to be a bunch of receivers, a bunch of offensive linemen, maybe a cornerback or two. If Quinyon Mitchell or Terrion Arnold are there, I think you take them over Bowers, and then fucking Cincy might get like
so Cincy can even trade up if he falls far enough.
Yeah,
they feel like he's in striking distance.
Like how many times you see like teams like trading up for like a tight end?
Seattle. Seattle. I don't know if he gets past Seattle.
Yeah, who do they got? Fant.
Yeah, and fuck.
Well, they just released Will Dissly today, so maybe they want to add to their group.
Jacksonville's not going to take him.
Having those 3 receivers that they have, Kenneth Walker and getting Bowers, that would be
tough.
Filthy. Yeah, that'd be filthy.
Yeah, the very latest I could see him going is 18. There's no way he goes past Cincinnati, in my opinion.
How'd that Cooper? What's his name? Cooper
DeJean.
How
tested good.
I see all the mocks having Green Bay taking.
Was he there? I don't remember seeing him.
So.
Or did he do? Like,
I don't know. I don't know if he was at the combine, but
Yeah, 'cause I don't remember seeing him at the combine. I'm sure they.
I was listening to like they were going over his like game tape and stuff and like how fast he's gotten on field
okay.
and stuff like that.
I could have sworn he had like a injury or something. That's why he didn't work out at the combine.
I see a lot of mocks having Green Bay take him at 25, so I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean he's a baller.
Yeah,
He's
and
balling.
they just took Luka Van Ness last year with our first pick, so
No,
some
Iowa,
teams like
yeah.
to just go with the same. Like we were going Georgia for a while, maybe we're gonna start going Iowa.
Yeah, right. Can you imagine that Iowa?
Yeah, I'll take it though.
So NFL has his athleticism score at 74, production score second, total score fourth. So they have him ranked as the fourth defensive back in the draft.
Who they got at 3?
That's a good question. I just looked up his. He fractured his tibia, will not work out at the NFL Combine. Yeah. So Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, sweet name. Start off with Cooper DeJean. And you think of like a certain person, and when you see him, doesn't match up with the name.
He's not. Elephant in the room, white guy. Would be the first starting cornerback since like 1982 or some weird thing. But the thing is, he's not.
He could fly.
He's athletic enough to play the position, but he's not like a plus athlete at the position. Like he's not fucking. What's his name? Quinyon Mitchell.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, he played D1 corner and he was fucking elite at it. You know, like I
He's
don't.
all Iowa had, really.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how he plays. I want to see him get a shot at being a cornerback. But give some of these white kids dreams and hopes. And keep it alive.
We need to add one to the team.
We do, man. We
Our
need,
squad is looking light.
Our squad's putting up 67 points, but we're fucking getting 90 dropped on our heads. Like
We have no defense, no corners.
we need him to play corner. I don't know, man. I wish he could have worked out at the combine.
Will he be good to do the pro day or no?
That's a good question. I don't
I
know.
wonder if he will.
I don't know.
Because that might make him fall out of the first round if all these guys are scoring so well. And
I don't know if he falls out of the first round with just because, like I said, after you get like 15 players in, it's, I mean,
Free for all.
yeah, I mean, the only really strong position is the wide receivers, and then even a lot of those guys probably like they could fall. All the wide receiver needy teams are going to pick, and then you get to like the Bills and the Chiefs who need receivers, but it's I don't know. Cooper DeJean was like the second or third best cornerback coming into the year. Kool-Aid kind of fell below Quinyon and Terrion Arnold. It's gonna be fun. I'm really excited about it.
it's good for the Bills, too, that I guess for the whole league, though, that the receivers didn't become available because we all thought Kansas City was going to either get Pittman, Evans, or – well, probably not. I never really thought they could get Higgins, but I definitely thought Mike Evans was going to be a Chief.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah, the Chiefs might have to just rely, what the –
But they'll end up getting one of these receivers now anyways.
They're gonna
For
get
cheaper too.
Yeah, it'll
a lot
just work
cheaper.
out in their favor somehow because that's just how it goes.
I mean, this year was it's just the worst case scenario. They won the Super Bowl with the worst team ever. Not the worst team ever, but you get what I'm saying.
Their worst team.
Their worst
They're
team.
gonna have, yeah.
And they were going to get a receiver in the draft at the very least. So I'd rather them get like Ladd McConkey than Mike Evans, but I still think Ladd McConkey's going to be
solid.
he's going to be a good player, and when you put him with Pat Mahomes,
$52 million, 35 guaranteed.
yeah, like it's like they probably signed Gabe Davis, and then because Gabe's just be like, "Oh, Bills, you don't want to fucking pay me. Let me go
I'm
shit on
low-key
you."
hoping he signed with them
just
to see the heel turn and
It would be
like the
awesome.
fan reaction.
Yeah.
I think like Chiefs or Houston are like the top positions for. I mean, it's like why not go there? Like you caught a game-winning touchdown, you thought you were gonna go to the AFC Championship, and then 13 seconds happens. Now go to the team that did it to you. Like go, just
If you can't beat them,
they fucking sign him and they draft Ladd McConkey or fucking
That'd
one
be
of these guys like Mitchell, like someone, and there's just speed everywhere in the field now. It's like Rashee Rice fast as fuck, Ladd McConkey fast as fuck, Worthy. Gabe Davis is just like your only slow guy, but big body guy. They're just gonna win the Super Bowl for the next 7 years. Just get over it. Like we just need one of those Tom Brady ACL tear years. That's it. It sucks, man.
And
what are
they
you gonna
still
do?
found a way to win games. When
Yeah,
that
he still won
happened.
11 games that year.
I'm praying the Bills get Brian Thomas now. Now that I've seen him, I think he's exact. I thought Troy Franklin was, but then he sucked. But now I'm just like Keon Coleman. Fucking hated that guy. Like, and now
that's why I don't like the combine. That's why I always just decide.
But
I
now,
like who I like, and I just stick with it because the combine will have you thinking some crazy shit. It'll have you taking Trayvon Walker over Aiden Hutchinson. That's what the combine will do to you.
No, but
I don't want nothing to do with that shit.
I know, man. We just need someone with speed. Keon Coleman interviewed with Sean McDermott and was like, "I'm exactly what the Bills need. Like, I'm exactly what Josh Allen needs."
Oh, wow.
And I love that in a receiver.
That's pretty
and
cool.
he like Pickens isn't the fastest guy either, but fucking
Got some dog. in him.
yeah, you need that dog that Josh Allen can just throw the ball up to and grab it, man. But Brian Thomas, 4.3 30, man.
Is he gonna fall that far?
No, I doubt it. See, I think Keon Coleman has a chance to fall that far. I think if we want Brian Thomas, we're gonna have to trade up.
I think so.
My nightmare is that Brian Thomas goes to the Dolphins. That's my nightmare.
Would they even take him though?
No,
Why not?
I think they need to. I mean, especially if they lose Christian Wilkins, they got to get one of those D tackles or edge rushers.
Yeah,
or
I
something.
think they have to make a move.
Dude, go. I mean,
Even
there's-
offensive tackle.
let's see what defensive because I'm just saying, man. I get it, but like smart teams don't draft for need; they draft the best player available. That's what the Ravens do every year. They'll have the 3 best cornerbacks in the league. As the best player on the board's a cornerback, they'll draft him, and then in 4 fucking years, when all those quarterbacks retire, and you're like, oh, the Ravens the secondary is gonna suck. Here comes this dude that you forgot they drafted with the 19th overall pick, and he leads the league in interceptions. Like, you draft the best player, and if the fucking Dolphins are like, oh, we have 7 players that run a 4-3, and we add Brian Thomas to it.
I guess Tyreek has been talking about retiring in a couple of years too, or whatever.
Yeah, so once his contract's up, he's
Yeah,
gonna
so
be a
they
streamer.
might. I guess they could think about that and be like, "Fuck it, let's replace him now and put them all in offense." Yeah.
Bills line up, right? Some miracle, Trey White's back and is a decent player. Douglas, White, you got Teron Johnson, who I love, covering a guy who runs a 4-3 in the slot. Like,
Yeah, no, I mean their offense would be insane.
go fucking sign. I'm gonna name some random name that's on the NFL free agents list at defensive tackle. Like, fuck it. Fuck it.
And there's 7 rounds. It's not like
You could get a D
can
tackle
address those
anywhere.
things on day 2, day 3.
Well, here's a question I had, and I've been hearing people talk about it today on like different shows and shit. So since we know that the wide receiver group is so deep, and like maybe you still need some need on the defensive side, and it's not slim pickings for the defensive tackle and edge rusher group, but like it's like top heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather get the slim pickings on one of those defensive positions in the first round, and then wait till the second or third round to get one of those receivers who potentially have like a first round grade, but since the class is so deep, they're going to end up falling to the second or third rounds?
Yeah, I would rather take the guaranteed stud on defense and then take my chance with Keon Coleman type players.
It kind of ties to like what the Bills, they're sitting at 28. They're going to have a spot to get one of those defensive guys because, like, obviously the top 3 receivers are going to be off the board. Maybe another 4 or 5 receivers are going to be off the board. There's still going to be a good amount of defensive players left because you're probably going to see corners fly off. You're going to see some receivers fly off.
A lot of quarterbacks will probably end up
exactly. So, I mean,
Just speaking from the Bills' perspective and what I just said, like, I'm just like best player. Like, draft, but with the Bills, yes, there is a lot of receivers, but once you get into like those second, third round guys, it's more like possession guys. Ricky Pearsall, Johnny Wilson, Roman Wilson, like guys that aren't going to take the top off the offense and be a real difference maker, which is what the Bills need. So just specifically for the Bills, I think if you can trade up and get a guy like Brian Thomas, like that changes your team way more than getting, because you're not going to get an elite. Who's really going to be there? Maybe a defensive tackle who's a legit starter, but at 28, everyone you're drafting is up in the air. I mean, if he was someone that you can rely on to just walk in and start, then he would have been drafted in the top 20, especially in a draft like this where after the top 13, 14 guys are gone.
That's not always true, though. If you think about the Chiefs just got McDuffie and Karlaftis at like 23 and 30.
Yeah.
Whatever.
No, I'm not. I mean, we got Trey White at 27.
Yeah.
But before his injuries, I think was a top 5 cornerback in the league. You're going to find those guys there 100%. I mean, Puka Nacua was a 5th round pick. I'm just saying, just from what you know about them right now, that like those guys, like no one you're drafting at 28 is just a guaranteed.
Oh, no.
Thing. Like
no, I agree.
where if you draft Joe Alt, you draft any of those
sure.
guys. Like that guy's starting day one. You're expecting
He's
him
gonna be great
to be
day
elite
one.
immediately. These GMs and stuff, they're doing their own scouting. I mean, I guarantee when Trey White came out, they were like, this guy should have fucking went 20 picks earlier. Yeah, like this is amazing. So, I mean, if there's a guy like that they feel like that about, for sure. But from my standpoint, with my limited knowledge, I just think I would rather trade up. I would rather lose a third-round pick and get a guy that we can confidently believe that paired with Josh Allen is a difference maker. Brian Thomas might go to a team and not be good. But I am like 100% sure that if he goes to the Bills with Josh Allen's arm paired with his speed, he's going to make everyone on that field better. He's going to impact that offense more than getting the fourth best corner and then Ricky Pearsall would. And I love Ricky Pearsall. He's going to make an impact on a team. But just for the Bills specifically, they need speed.
Yeah.
I mean, look at John Brown. He was in the twilight of his career. Josh Allen made him a Pro Bowler. And Josh Allen was awful on deep throws last year, but it wasn't his fault. I mean, how many times did he throw the ball and Diggs just didn't have the juice to get there? Or Gabe Davis didn't have the juice to get there. A deep ball is just as much about as a receiver's ability to track the ball as it is about the quarterback's ability to throw it. And that's where Brian Thomas and those guys, Lab McConkey, those guys thrive. I mean, I think Troy Franklin's really good at that too, but with his lack of speed and size now, I'm not as big.
I love how much you jumped off him.
I mean,
Bro, it's crazy.
Yeah, because I seen it.
I mean, I didn't know.
I was very high on
it. I didn't know how high you were, but
I was very high.
Just assuming from when you came in, you're like, oh, god damn, Troy Franklin.
couple
he let me down, man.
I seen a couple other Bills writers that were like, before the combine, were saying like Franklin's everything that we need, blah blah blah. I would like to see how they feel now as well, because like I said, the combine really will just change everything on a team.
Like I'm not looking at this like when I'm looking at the combine, I'm not like, okay, fuck that. But I'm just saying, I used to always hate small guys too. Like I came in last year, I was like, I would never draft Tank Dell. These guys are fucking tiny. And then Tank Dell's great, and
it all depends where you fall, you know.
But Troy Franklin, it's like if you're gonna be that small, you have to have something. Like outside of production, I just don't see anything elite
Maybe he's gonna
about
crush
him.
His pro day though. Maybe he just ran bad that day.
But he didn't do great on the gauntlet either, which is like more of a game speed thing, where it's like seeing how you get in and out of your breaks.
Yeah,
and so like I would rather take Keon Coleman, who might run a slower 40, but like his accelerations. Brian Thomas is like he's not Tyreek Hill good, but he's the reason. His game speed matches his 40 time. He can stop running and then start running and get right back up to that speed very quickly. Where Troy Franklin, he ran the gauntlet. He was like not even running in straight lines. He got to like 17 miles per hour was like his highest thing, and you weigh 170 pounds.
Yeah, it is kind of
like, and you're not. He's twitchy. So I mean, he can make guys miss, but when you're running that slow, like eventually someone's gonna fucking annihilate you. Like it's not like Devontae Smith's like elite route runner. Jumps 40 inches in the air. Like, very safe with his body. Gets down when he needs to. Tank Dell, fast as fuck. Like, you need something to make up for the fact that you're 170 pounds. That, like, you have, like, the muscle mass of the podcaster. Like, I'm just... I don't know. I would love Troy Franklin if we got him in the second. That would be cool. I'm just not... He's not a first guy. Like... He's not a first round guy.
Troy.
I'm sorry.
You're off the list, pal.
I'm sorry. I can't talk myself into it. I just don't know. I just want to trade him and get Brian Thomas, man. That's all I want. That's all I want. I want that 4-3 guy.
One reason why I bring that question up is because like I had a seat in on Michael Lombardi. He had like a seminar on like how executives grade NFL players, and he showed like the grading system of when he was with the Cleveland Browns in 2013 on like an Excel sheet. He didn't sit there and go through the whole thing. He kind of flew by it, but it makes you think like, so what's the first side of the ball you think of when you think Buffalo Bills and Sean McDermott?
Now offense. I mean,
but generally though, he's a defensive coach. So
yeah.
I
think the Buffalo Bills historically defense.
Right. So in terms of like his scheme and the way he builds his teams up with Brandon Beane and everything, that's sort of their identity. And whatever grading system they have, I don't fucking know what it is, but because each team's got their own, obviously. But I think if a guy like Brian Murphy is on the board, right, from Texas. I just think it'll be hard for them to pass up on it. That's just my opinion. Just trying to see from their perspective. So it's going to be an interesting draft from their end because they do, like you were mentioning, they do need that receiver that can get to the second level and just fucking go on a piss missile and Josh Allen just throw it downfield and everything. But their identity is that defense, bro. At the end of the day.
No, I 1,000% agree. In like if we had that guy, like if we had a downfield threat guy and he wasn't even elite, just like John Brown in 2019 or whatever that year was, I'd be like, fine, like fuck it. I mean, I like just get the best player available for your scheme, but it's just such a desperate need. It's such a desperate need, and I think Brian Thomas is the last elite guy at doing that. I need to look more into Keon Coleman because like. I think the combine is getting me a little gassed up on Keon Coleman because he couldn't get open in college. He would just moss guys. He would literally just.
That's a specialty. Like,
yeah,
body, physical receiver.
But like Mike Evans was the same way. So it's like the reason, like Keon Coleman, I think will fall to 28. But it's like, is he going to be Mike Evans or is he going to be Cortland Sutton, the like mid-tier guy, or is he going to be fucking like who's a big slow guy that just Allen Robinson? Like, is that like? Which of those is he gonna be? I mean,
that's a risk you got to take, buddy.
Where Brian Thomas is like that last guy, where I'm almost 1,000% confident that he might not develop into a wide receiver one, but he's going to be a good player with Josh Allen. Even like I think his floor playing for the Bills is so high that even if he doesn't reach the peak you expect from a guy who's 6'2" and runs a 4.3, it's worth the pick. Defensive tackles are just so hit or miss. 1, 2, they take forever to develop. We drafted Ed Oliver with the 8th pick. He didn't become great until last season. I mean, he was very underwhelming his first 2 or 3 years. We're not in that position, right? Like we're not the Rousseau pick. I hated it. I love Rousseau as a player, but it's like we're not in the position to draft these guys that we're developing for 4 or 5 years. Like we're in the position of get the guy who's going to make the biggest difference next year. So I hated the Jordan Love pick, even though it's paying off right now. You would give up Jordan Love most likely if it meant you got another Super Bowl with Rodgers, or no?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So it's like that's why I'm just like you can draft. We've seen these guys come in off a receiver and just step in. And I mean, look at Rashee Rice. Without Rashee Rice taking that step up, they don't win that Super Bowl.
Probably not.
And he's a rookie. Best receiver on the team while Kelsey was dealing with what the fuck he was dealing with before he turned into Jerry Rice in the playoffs.
They took him in like the second or third though, right?
Yeah, but same. I mean, still. I mean, I don't know. I just want. I'm not saying it's not possible. I just want Brian Thomas a lot. Like I want that guy.
You don't say.
Where's he mocked to go? Like, is that even a possibility?
He's like mocked in between like 17 to 20. Like we would have to trade up, I believe. The odds of him falling to 28 are probably like 5%, but we'd probably have to give up a future third or something. I don't know.
Just to me, if they see Chop Robinson or
Chop Robinson,
is it Byron
I don't think
or
falls.
Brian? I want to say this shit right. Is it Byron Murphy, Texas?
Tomato.
Okay.
Byron Murphy, I like the other guy too.
Frisch.
Texas got Sweat. What's that?
That dude's enormous.
Yo, what was he? 360.
He's funny as fuck. He said, "I'm about to go run out. You're gonna see me run a 4.7 40. You're gonna be super surprised. He ran a 5.2."
Close enough.
That's mad funny. But what's the guy? Fuck.
Frisch, dude.
No, what the?
State.
It's like he's got one of the names where it's like JA apostrophe something. What the fuck is his name? I don't know. Keep talking.
Not the tight end, right?
No, not Jatavion Sanders.
Yeah, okay.
Baltimore, I guess. I don't know why, but they just love tight ends. They said they were like interviewing him or some shit. Like,
that'd be kind of dangerous. Cause I mean, what is it? How old is Mark Andrews? He got to be getting sort of old.
No, he's only like 28.
Yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's young.
Shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So I don't know what they're trying to do over there. 3 tight
Isaiah
ends.
Likely's fucking 13. Like, what
you
do
know, Harry, you got a good
Jerzon
point.
Newton, that guy. Jerzon Newton.
Oh, Johnny Newton.
No,
Changed
not
his
Johnny.
name, dude.
No, he didn't.
So go look it up. I swear.
There's no way he
He
changed.
said he
his
wants
name.
to be called Johnny.
Okay, never mind. I don't want him anymore. Guys who change the name don't do good.
Shaq Leonard.
This is an anti-change your name podcast, man. They got me on it. At first, I was like, "That's such a dumb
Darius
Thing to
Leonard
be
was
mad
the
about."
best linebacker in football. He became Shaq Leonard. He just
Sucks.
Now he's on the Eagles.
Yeah,
change
fuck
your
that. I don't want him.
All right.
I don't. If it, like that's
Johnny
worse than the Troy Franklin fall off.
I don't even
The
think
Troy Franklin fall off is epic, though. I think the last time we were on here, this dude was all for like Troy Franklin.
It's
and all
Byron
that.
Murphy.
I can see it. Byron Murphy, yeah. So I feel like if the Bills see him on the board and they're like, okay, maybe we get one of these receivers later in the second round, but Byron Murphy's here. He kind of fits our mold. I don't see him passing him up.
It's huge. It all depends on what happens with Daquan Jones. I think Daquan Jones is the one free agent the Bills think they can possibly keep because the other guys, like we can't afford Micah, we can't afford these other guys.
What's his money looking like, Daquan?
That I haven't even seen because before this year he wasn't really that good of a player, and then this year his run defense was great. He was. I think if we can get him for around $8 million a year, I think they'll find a way to keep him. If we keep Daquan Jones, there's no way we draft a defensive tackle in the first round, in my opinion. If we don't, then I wouldn't be surprised. I got to look into this Newton business because if his name's still Jerzon, I want him.
Dude.
Are you sure?
100%. Why would I make this up? Why would I be messing with a grown man's name, bro?
Get your boy Johnny.
Get your boy Johnny.
Why do you have a name?
Johnny Bill.
I mean, maybe it's like some trauma shit, and I'm gonna sound like an asshole. But why do you have the name Jerzon and you want to be called Johnny? You sound like a superhero.
That's what they called it. Like this is family and friends call him Johnny.
Why do you go through the trouble of naming someone Jerzon to call them Johnny?
I'm not his parent, bro. I don't got the answer. I just
I'm
know
asking the
he changed his name
questions,
to
man.
Johnny.
I'm just asking the right questions. So hopefully someone hears this and they give me the whole story. But
Go to his Twitter right now.
It's a great
Johnny.
Johnny.
I'm gonna be sick. You know how many Johnny Newtons there are in the world? There's one in Niagara Falls, isn't there?
I wouldn't doubt it, to be honest.
You know how many Jerzons there are? None. He's a fucking superhero. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Jerzon Newton.
Or you could even do a quick Google search. I could even pull it
No,
up.
you need the X. You need to hear it straight from the source.
Okay.
Dat boy Johnny.
Boom.
This got to be fake.
Don't ever doubt me again.
This is
Don't doubt me
fake. This is
again.
fake. It's only got 50 followers.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, he hasn't made the league.
It'll blow up, I promise. Maybe he just made a new one because he wants to go by Johnny. That boy Johnny.
That's
He made it
fucking
3
awesome.
seconds ago. He just got his. Dude, it's all saying Jerzon. His middle. I guess they call him Johnny, man. But no, okay. So he's not changing his name. They've been calling him Jerzon
Yes, but
Johnny.
you know everyone's gonna call him Johnny.
Yeah.
But it's
Because
not.
they
it's
don't know
not,
how to say Jerzon.
Okay, but you got to be specific here to follow the change your name rules.
He's gonna change it.
No, but if everyone's been calling him Johnny for a while, that's like Babe Ruth. That's not his real name, but people call him that. That's fine. But if one day like he went through all of his college and was Jerzon, and now he's about to get drafted and he's like, I'm Johnny, then it's done. 5th round.
That boy
So
Johnny.
were they calling
Boy Johnny.
were they calling him Johnny all the time? I gotta
do some research.
No, yeah, his Instagram name is Johnny Newton. So they've been calling him Johnny. He's not going to lose his powers by changing his name. His name's Ben Johnny.
But they've always been calling Darius Shaq.
No.
And just out of nowhere, yeah.
Not in the NFL,
His
though.
middle name.
When he got a tackle, Darius Leonard. They did not call him Shaq.
All right, you got that there, but
That's what I care about.
that boy Johnny.
When you had like a huge play, when you sacked a quarterback,
You
and
might have just done some marketing.
I
there.
know.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
when
He
you
just got shacked.
when you sacked a quarterback in a bowl game, did they call you Johnny or did they call you Jerzon? Because whatever they called you is
DM's open. Send him a message right now.
all right. Well, no, I gotta go back and look because there's tape.
All right.
I can go back and watch some Illinois games and see what they called him. Whatever they called him
That boy
is what he
Johnny
needs
with a
to
sack.
remain being called. That's what I'm saying. If Babe Ruth was like, one day I want to be called by my God-given name, you got to call me George, he would have hit 400 less home runs. Herman.
Excuse me? His name was Herman?
George Herman Ruth.
GW or GH?
Man, that's
Yeah.
bad.
So
GH Ruth.
what I'm saying is, just based off this theory, Babe Ruth hit 714 home runs, right? Like 7 times more than anyone during his time. If 8 years into his career, he said, Babe is a childish name, call me George Herman, he would have never hit more than 20 home runs ever again.
Sounds like a law firm. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Literally.
Law firm of English.
So,
He would have been
with
trash.
that theory,
Would have been hot garbage.
yeah.
We would have left him in Boston. He would have never been a Yankee.
So with that theory, if they called him Johnny Newton throughout his college career, he will be a good defensive tackle.
Okay.
But
All I was just trying to tell you, bro, he just wants to be called Johnny.
The best part is, though, the first thing he sees is that boy Johnny.
Yo, your reaction to that was awesome.
He's like, that boy Johnny.
Yo. Oh, man, that's so good. Any NFL?
Kelsey.
Oh, Jason Kelce. Yeah, how the fuck did I forget about
I feel
that?
like an asshole. We didn't talk about that on the show yesterday.
Oh, one more thing when you're like what you're talking about. So the Bills need like a cornerback. They need defensive tackles. There's guys in the there's guys in the relax.
They need a lot.
They don't need that much. They need a second cornerback. They need to keep Daquan Jones, and they need a deep threat wide receiver. Other than that, good offensive line. The rest of their defensive line will be good as long as Von Miller takes a little step up. Even their corners played well last year with how they were playing.
They cut Hines too. He got done.
They might bring him
back.
But
yeah. I mean, yeah. He didn't get paid. Yeah, he got paid last year.
I thought he didn't get paid or whatever because it was like a non-football injury.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Yeah,
then they cut him.
Filthy.
He deserves.
You can get. I think you can get a guy like J.C. Jackson, Xavier Howard on a prove-it deal like we did with Floyd. I think you can. If you don't get Daquan Jones, there's like DJ Reader. You get someone like that, and then get a guy to take the top off the offense.
How do you think they're going to get out of this cap shit?
I don't know. The Saints did it for like 7 years. Every year,
nobody. But here's the thing: no one has the salary cap guy from the Saints other than the Saints. So good luck to you.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out. I think a lot of Josh Allen's contract could be backloaded. They just restructured Connor McGovern. They're gonna cut Hyde.
Sad violin.
Yeah, I mean,
bring Hyde back home.
Bring him home. They need him.
I love him. I wish we could keep him, but they're gonna cut him.
I can see.
They're gonna cut. There's a lot of guys. They can probably restructure Mitch Morse. We'll see.
Trim the beard down.
We'll see. I mean, the thing is the cap situation was pretty similar last year, and they found ways to give like little prove-it deals. I think you can maneuver within that. We say all the time on here the NFL cap, it just makes no sense to us. But they found a way to maneuver and give Leonard Floyd $9 million a year. I mean, J.C. Jackson, I think will take $5 million at this point if he could revive his career. McDermott, if he could do one thing, is revive a cornerback's career. I don't know. We'll see. But moving on.
Right.
The most loved player in the NFL, I think. I don't think there's really an argument. Jason Kelce, retired. Made me cry almost.
Yeah, I watched most of that.
It's beautiful how popular he got in the last 5 years. To go from like no one cares about centers. I mean, really.
Jeez.
I'm sorry.
The game starts.
Yeah. How many centers can you name?
Okay, we playing a game right now?
But Jason Kelce went from first half of his career only made like 1 or 2 Pro Bowls. Second half of his career makes like 7 more, 5 All Pros. One of the most popular podcasts in America, and retires with a whole press conference watched by everyone across the country for a center. I mean, that's a pretty fucking.
Nah, it was crazy.
That's pretty cool. Most loved player in America, makes us all cry.
From Ohio,
Cleveland. You know,
yeah, I do like him, the way him and Travis are. Like the fact that Travis Kelce was like there crying and shit, like that was pretty cool.
And it's awesome. Like he did shout out his teammates and stuff, but like mostly shouted out Travis and his wife. That dude's just like the luckiest guy in the world, man. Like he's awesome. Fucking awesome player, gonna be a Hall of Famer at his position. Won a Super Bowl. Fucking loves his brother. Like there's competitive. Well, like I mean, a lot of.
Indeed,
I mean, you look at.
Indeed, he does.
Just look at the Diggs brothers, right? Like fucking, you got Trayvon like chirping and saying dumb shit, and like I'm sure they're fucking friends, but no one's as close as Travis and Jason. I mean, Jason lost, and he said, "Oh, like I was so disappointed, and I felt so bad for me and my friends, and then I looked over and I saw my brother, and I felt such like a pride that he was able to get it done one more time." Like just to have that kind of brotherly love. A lot of, I mean, you know, there's so many brothers who there's like the competitiveness outweighs the love. Like I don't know. I just thought it was fucking beautiful, man.
No, I feel, and even
Can I get?
He mentioned to himself, it's like I didn't know this. He said literally in his family, like they have no cousins, they have no other sibling. It's just them two.
Yeah.
And they have no boys either.
Right.
Right now, Travis has no kids, and Jason only has girls. So we might be seeing the end of the. They need a boy, man.
Nah, Travis and Taylor Swift will get a boy out there.
All the athleticism from Travis will be ripped out of those kids' bodies by Taylor.
All the money they have, they'll make a boy happy.
Yo, they'll make it work.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Don't worry about that.
And then when he was talking about his wife, I was like, I need to find that, man. Like that, come on, like it was beautiful.
Hey, that shit touched you.
Yeah,
It really was like a movie. Like, it was
Yeah,
crazy.
she walked through the door and there was an aura around her, and like, come on, man, like it doesn't get better.
No, it doesn't.
Like I'm sad to see him go, but it's just like a perfect capstone.
And once he said he had a press conference, I was sad because, like, obviously he wasn't gonna have a press conference to say, "All right, hey guys, I'm back. We'll see you."
Can you imagine that?
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like we knew it was gonna be like this big emotional thing, so I definitely was. I was sad to see that he announced that there was gonna be a press conference. I'm like, damn, he's gone.
Yeah, that's how you knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was awesome. I think we need to start.
He shout out the Eagles fans though. He said he respects how they are because a lot of people hate Philadelphia fans. And he was saying, like, they just don't play that soft shit. He's like, if you come in here and you don't do your job and you suck, they're going to let you know about it. Like, it's just, it's too bad.
Well, the Kelceys are old school.
He went through that. He said 2013 where they want him all out of town. He said even a lot of people in the front office want him out. But I forget, he dropped the name. It was somebody in the front office. He said he was the reason why he stayed.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that could happen. Like, you're that close to being out, and then you end up being one of the best centers of all time, like 10 years within the next 10 years.
And underrated, they're old school guys too, which like he even talked about. He's like, we fought together. Like even the concept of boys fighting in school now is like it's the worst thing ever. But it's like just fucking boys, man. They're just playing sports and fucking roughing each other up and being great guys. Like, you know, I mean. He's the last of a dying breed, dude.
I wonder if the tush push is dead. They might not be able to execute it without Jason.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, Jalen Hurts still squats.
They might ban it anyway, so don't matter.
Being the next center for the Eagles is going to be a lot of pressure. I wouldn't want that.
You're not kidding.
Wouldn't want that job.
Well, I mean, Lane Johnson's probably gone after a year or two. I mean, that offensive line, they just draft so fucking. They're gonna find.
They'll be all right.
They'll find the best tackle.
They'll do it this season.
They'll draft some random guy this year, and he'll be better than Joe Walton, Mims, and everyone. Yeah, that was a sad day. But
it's
moving
cool
on
to see him go out on top, though.
Yeah,
because you have so many guys who end up. You follow Antonio Brown on Twitter?
I try not to, but for some reason he just keeps popping up.
Dude, I don't know if I follow him if he just pops up, but he has a
Elon Musk pushes Antonio Brown on 100%, everyone.
100%. When he posts breaking news, it's hashtag CTESPN. That shit's hilarious. But seeing Jason Kelce not have to
be on CTESPN,
like he's going. Not a lot of guys go out on top like that, so that's pretty cool for him. Because Antonio Brown obviously didn't go out on top.
Depends who you ask, I guess.
He makes me fucking laugh on there.
Oh, man. Anything football that I'm missing that you guys talked about yesterday?
You pretty much touched on all franchise tag. That's the big thing. Free agency, that's more so next week.
Yeah, Giants didn't tag Barkley.
Yeah, he's in.
Yeah, running back market's crazy. Guys who got the tags. We already said Mike Evans got re-signed. T. Higgins got tagged. Jalen Johnson got tagged. Snead got
What's going
tagged.
on with Burns? Did they do anything with him?
He got tagged.
They tagged him.
Most of the best free agents are out, but I think there's still a pretty good crop of guys this year.
Sure.
It's definitely the best running back class in the history of free agents.
Where do you think Barkley goes?
I don't see why he don't come to Green Bay. You know what I mean?
You guys have the money, right?
I don't know if we have the money, but the running backs don't really cost that much money. Like, if I know Dylan's probably gone 100%, and Aaron Jones, as much as I want him to come back, I don't know what's going to happen with him.
I'm saying
So these are guys who are still on the market, haven't been tagged yet. Some of them probably will. Leonard Williams, Chris Jones, I'm guaranteeing he's going to be back. Daniel Hunter, J.C. Jackson, Emmanuel Ogbah, OBJ, my bad. Rest in peace, ODB. Eddie Jackson, Buda Baker, Laken Tomlinson, DJ Rader, Adoree Jackson, Quandre Diggs, Diggs and Adams both got released as we were starting this podcast.
Hey, Jamal Adams, I did see that.
Derrick Henry, Hunter Henry, Jerome Baker, Jonnu Smith, Tyron Smith, Josh Jacobs, Sedarius Smith, Curtis Samuel, Tyler Boyd, Ngakoue, Tony Pollard, Darius Williams, Saquon, Stephon Gilmore, MVS, who, I mean,
Yeah, he'll be going.
Put him as your fifth string wide receiver until the
Bills should get
playoffs
him
start.
The Bills should get him to take.
Don't even play him.
Maybe.
Don't even play him for a game. Just play him in the playoffs.
Thomas, fuck Troy Franklin.
MVS, boy.
Him in the playoffs is ridiculous. Micah Hyde, Chase Young, Jeff Okudah, Tracy Walker, Logan Thomas, Jacoby Brissett, C.J. Uzomah, Cedric, and then we're starting to get into some you're kind of reaching. But I mean, even fucking Calais Campbell, Leonard Floyd. Like there's guys everywhere, even with all the franchise tags.
I'm real curious to see the running backs though, because those are all big names. Like I saw Jacobs was definitely not going back.
I think he's done with them.
Barkley seems like he's not going to be going back.
The Giants, they got to be third worst team to be a fan of right now.
Bad,
You can't afford to keep your best player because you gave Daniel Jones $40 million. You can't even really afford to go out and try to get a quarterback like Kirk Cousins because you gave Daniel Jones $40 million.
Yeah, it's bad.
Like that's
they'll be able to get out of it though. I think
they got
after next year, but still,
Waller's about to retire.
Oh yeah,
I mean he's on the Giants. Like fuck it, I'll just hang it up. I'm not gonna keep playing.
I'm a free agent fan.
Yeah, he's out of here.
I'm really interested in. I think I'm not. They're just probably gonna come out and get 1,000 yards because they want to make me feel wrong. But Derrick Henry, Eckler, those guys, I'm not really interested in. I think, and that's Derrick Henry goes to the Ravens.
Henry's gonna make an impact.
I personally, I think he's going to the Ravens. I think you can lock that in right now, strictly for the fact that they tried to trade for him at the trade deadline. It didn't work out, and it went past the deadline. So I think you could book that one in.
Yeah, he'll crush there, too. He'll need like 10, 15 carries a game to make a huge impact.
Right. And I think in terms of Saquon Barkley, I'm just going based off of this typical – we've seen what happens when players on Instagram start following each other and shit. That's how we, as fans, automatically assume that's the team they're interested in. So maybe Saquon Barkley might be heading to Houston.
I like that.
That's a good move, too.
What about didn't Saquon and Micah Parsons both go to Penn State?
Yeah.
They did.
I could see
at the
Saquon
same time
going to Dallas. I don't know if they were teammates, but I could see them having a connect and him going to Dallas and sticking it to the Giants.
That'd be wild.
I could definitely see that.
So let me change what I was saying about Derrick Henry. I don't think he's done, but I think he does. I think at this point he needs to go to a team with a good offensive line.
Yeah, good offensive line.
He can't do what he used to. He can't go to a team like Tennessee, even though they've never really had a good offensive line for him. He just would run for 2,000 yards like it was nothing.
He'd get 25, 30 carries.
He needs
to go to Baltimore, Buffalo.
Yeah,
he needs to go to a contender that he only needs 10 to 12 touches a game, and he's going to average 7 yards a carry. He's going to score a bunch of touchdowns in the red zone.
If he pulls a DeAndre Hopkins and goes to a team that's not built to help him out, I think. Well, just think he wants another payday. I mean, he's not going to get paid after this. He's 28 years old. If he pulls that, I'm as less interested as possible as you can be in Derrick Henry.
Yeah, if he goes to a shitty
he's still
spot,
Derrick Henry. I'm still going to pay attention to him, but it's not. But if he goes to Baltimore, Buffalo, he's perfect for Buffalo. We don't have the money to sign him. I'm not even dreaming of that. But he's perfect change of pace back for a team like that. Then I think he has a great year. Eckler, I just don't. I feel like the only reason he's been productive the last 2 years is because they forced him. The receivers have been hurt. They forced him the ball.
Yeah, it's not
he's not an in between. He's not an in between the tackles runner. Like he'd have to play for a team that I feel like he'd have to go to a Shanahan based kind of team. Which
if they put McCaffrey and Eckler together, bro,
it'd be wild. Saquon to Houston sounds real good though. Now that you mentioned that,
yeah,
I
hope it don't happen, but
yeah, that would be real nice.
Saquon and Josh Jacobs, I think, are going to go to a team and immediately make them better. I think we're going to see running backs live start to matter more. I mean, we're what
we've been fighting for.
For real.
If you look at how the Chiefs just won the Super Bowl, if you look how the 49ers made it there, you look how the Ravens had the best team in the league before they lost it to the Chiefs.
Why they lost? Because they didn't want to.
Because they didn't run the ball. I mean, these things go in waves, and it could change as fast as possible. And I think we're not at the point yet, but in a couple years, wide receiver might be the new running back. I mean, you're going to see these guys like Justin Jefferson make $35 million a year and not be able to get other positions filled. And every year, you're seeing 3 or 4 guys come out who can give you not similar production, but the same argument we make for running back, right? No one's going to give you Saquon Barkley numbers, but as long as you get 80% to 70% of what he's doing, spend the money elsewhere. And I feel like we might be seeing that switch. We might see the running backs finally start to go up a little bit because look at the draft this year. I mean, if this draft is any indication, Blake Corum's probably going to be the first one drafted, and he's probably not going to be until late second. So, like, you can't go out and replace Barkley. You kind of can go replace a receiver. I mean, you're not going to get Justin Jefferson numbers, but if you can get a guy like Neighbors or a Dunze, or if Brian Thomas or Keon Coleman or one of these guys breaks Troy Franklin.
Exactly.
But just to circle it back to the running backs, I mean, you can go and spend money, especially a team like Houston. Who are they paying? All of their receivers are on rookie contracts or low vet contracts. Laramie Tunzel, I feel like, is the only guy in the offensive line that's getting paid well. C.J. Stroud's on a rookie contract. You're not. Damian Pierce is a fourth round pick. Singletary's making $4 million a year. You can throw $20 million.
Production too.
You can throw $20 million at Barkley and have it not kill you like it would kill another team. I mean, same thing with Josh Jacobs. I mean, they're gonna go to one of these teams that has a rookie contract at quarterback, and they're gonna fucking make that team a lot better.
Right.
A lot better. Look how much better Houston was when they backed up off of Damian Pierce and used Singletary, and that running game was working. I mean, they went on a run. They made the playoffs.
They made the second round.
So, I'm happy to see that maybe these guys can bring some value back to the position. I'm really interested in Barkley because I think Barkley's still got. I think
Him
he's
and
got
Jacobs because they're both young.
Yeah, but I think Barkley's got one more at least one more fucking
stretch.
Like Barkley season.
Yeah.
I think he's been really good the past couple of years, even though the offense keyed in on him. He's had no wide receivers to take the heat off of him. He goes to a place like Houston, man.
Yeah, that'd be nuts.
Top.
Hey, Saquon, if you're listening.
Top 5 pick.
Houston fucking stinks. Don't go there. The city sucks.
It's one of the best cities in America.
You'll hate it, Saquon.
Yeah.
You'll hate it.
Yeah, I'm very interested in seeing what happens with Saquon. But moving on. Basketball, man. A lot of happening in the basketball world. 2 fucking huge records broke. Caitlyn Clark breaks the all-time men's and women's scoring record, total points. Awesome fucking story. She played AAU basketball with boys because girls would not play with her, and she was so good.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, her dad put her on boys teams. I'm pretty sure they won like a state title. And a lot of the boys' parents apparently like complained that she shouldn't even be in the league.
So they're getting cooked.
That
Yeah.
shit's funny as hell.
Then she goes to fucking college, man. Drags Iowa, makes Iowa relevant, and breaks Pete Maravich's what is the fuck? Probably fucking 900-year record of most total points
They
in
thought it would never
NCAA.
get broken.
Yeah, and she broke Kelsey Plum's all-time women's a while ago, but she still needs some points to break her one single season record, which as long as she wins one game in the tournament, I feel like is pretty. Oh no, they still have the. They still have
the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, they still have the Big Ten tournament, so that's probably gonna get smashed too. So she's gonna have every record.
And she declared for the draft too.
Yo, the Indiana mayor's already welcomed her to the city. I don't know if you've seen that tweet.
Oh, they
Nah.
got the number one pick.
Yeah, he's like, all right, Caitlyn Clark, welcome to Indianapolis.
I seen that. I didn't know that what the team was, but they had like the time thing or whatever. What's that called?
Sundial.
Or the hourglass.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
and it was once she declared, they put that up there because it's like it's only a matter of time for they pick her, obviously.
And not just Caitlyn. Obviously, she's the headliner, man. But women's basketball,
Buzzing.
it's getting. I used to hate it because there was only one good team. It was like every good female player either went to Tennessee or South Carolina or UConn, and it was that was it. One of those 3 teams was gonna every time they played, they'd win by 72 points.
Yeah.
And now they're
have
still
Caitlyn
South
Clark.
Carolina's still the best player, or the best team, but
But now, you have Caitlyn Clark, Reese,
Angel Reese.
and South Carolina as a team. Like you have different headlines.
Juju, even though she's a freshman,
Yeah,
has
USC's
been
good.
has been killing it. The draft class this year has 3 girls who would probably be the top pick in many of the year's drafts. Where the NBA draft's looking like I don't even know if any of these guys are going to be in the league in 5 years.
I can name you more college women's players
Same.
than I do men's.
Yeah,
I
was
don't
talking
know any.
with on Twitter with Ben, like just a few comments, but like college basketball, like for the men's side is usually boring until March Madness.
Right.
But I feel like this year there's like been nothing exciting about it. Like there's no fun player to follow. There's no Zion or
Exactly.
no like Chet Holmgren or none of that. I mean, I still love March Madness and it'll bring the buzz back for men's basketball, but it has been the women has been way more entertaining.
Yeah, I mean you want to tune in and see all this history being made. Where I watch a decent amount of men's basketball too. And I see the positives in there not being like these dominant teams and dominant players, because every game you're seeing like unranked teams beat ranked teams all the time. There's no like clear cut other than like UConn, Houston, and Purdue. Every game's kind of competitive because of that lack of like superstar power. So like silver lining.
It'll make like I said, the tournament will be great.
The tournament's gonna be insane. Yeah,
people will love it. But yeah.
On the women's side, like I'm more interested to see like what is Caitlyn Clark gonna do in her last tournament. Like
Yeah.
I want to see her and Angel Reese play again, man. Like I want to see an LSU Iowa game more
Or
than
see, like,
anything.
Juju versus Caitlyn Clark in the tournament.
Yeah,
there's a lot of shit to.
I want to
be
see
excited
Caitlyn
about.
Clark or Angel Reese go fucking crazy and somehow beat South Carolina. Like that's the stuff I'm more excited about than anything right now in college sports.
Like, what do they talk about in the men's sport? They talk about Bronny James averaging 3
7
points
points,
and
yeah.
shit like.
Anquan Bolton Jr.
Yeah,
EB.
it's just
I wanna-
it's just not been entertaining.
I'm not going to talk about Bronny today because today's going to be a very positive episode for LeBron James. But next week we'll get into Bronny because
Okay.
that's just a weird situation. But yeah, man. I mean, the females, you love seeing it because a lot of people hate like women's sports because of like sexism. It's like, oh, they can't dunk the ball, blah, blah, blah. I always disliked it because of, like I said, the lack of competition. Even in the WNBA, it was like back in the day, if you had Lisa Leslie, she's just gonna fucking annihilate you. I mean, and now you just look at like last year, the Liberty and the Aces. I mean, the Liberty had a stack team, and the Aces fucking just were better. I mean, it's just they're finally starting to get a plethora of talent instead of just having 4 or 5 really good players. Like the polarity coming to women's sports now, I feel like is going to project them a lot further. And you're seeing, and you can't. This whole myth of people not being entertained by women's sports is gone. I mean, Caitlyn Clark's making a ton of money in NIL. I mean,
She broke the record by like crossing over half court and just fucking pulling
Yeah.
up like Curry.
Literally.
Like that shit's amazing to see.
like Sabrina Ionescu, or however you pronounce her name,
You got it. Yeah.
play
Nice
like
job.
I'm a Liberty fan.
Nice
man.
job. You got the glasses on.
That's the best New York basketball team.
Facts. The fucking Knicks, dude. Like anytime we have something
Oh,
nice.
here you go. Look what you did.
I know. Anytime we have something nice, any fucking time, it's unbelievable. But anyway, she decided to like they were gonna let her shoot from the WNBA line. She said, "Nah, fuck that. I'm shooting for the NBA line." And she only lost by 3 to the greatest shooter
She
ever.
tied all the men who competed
Yeah.
in the event that night, but she lost to Curry because he's just too good.
So like, fuck that dunking. Like, I mean, no NBA players really do cool dunks anymore anyway. So
They shoot 3.
when Jaylen Brown's fucking dunk contest looks like that, I don't give a shit. Just play good basketball.
You weren't impressed by the dunk over Kai?
That dude's shorter than I am, man.
That didn't wow you at all?
No, I hate the whole. I hate the whole streamers are the fucking coolest people in the world now. I can't stand it.
You know, like Drewski?
No, Drewski's funny.
He's
Drewski's
hilarious.
funny. Drewski has talent. I hate this. I hate the. This is a sports podcast, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. But you know, if you've ever seen Kai Cenat's fucking content,
That's it.
they have like girls hide behind a fucking sheet and they ask them stupid fucking questions, and these guys are just worth $150 million, and they're at the NBA All-Star game getting dunked over, just zero talent. It's fucking unbelievable.
Move on to the Kings.
I
though.
know. Yeah, I mean, LeBron James. This is just gonna be the same conversation I had when he broke the all-time scoring record, but unfucking believable. Unfucking believable.
Yeah.
He has a triple-double now in career stats.
That's sick, bro.
He has 40,000 points or whatever.
No, it's a triple quadruple because it's 5 digits for everything.
Oh, he's got
triple
it for.
Yeah, he's got 10,000 rebounds, 10,000 assists, or he's very close to 10,000 assists.
No, he's got all that. He's got the triple-double
that's
points,
dope.
rebounds. and
Yeah,
assists.
quadruple. So it's triple quadruple.
Oh, okay.
It's triple 5 digits.
Regardless, man, he's
Yeah.
the best.
This dude, and people are like, oh, Luka can do it. I'm sorry, I love Luka. Soft body dude. He's not, unless they fucking figure out some crazy medical advancements in the next 20 years. LeBron, perfect storm of just being the absolute best with the absolute best body pause to deal with like the damage over time and stuff like that. He's unbelievable. 27 points a game at 40 years old. 40,000 points, first ever do it, creating his own club.
Literally. Best.
I saw a stat that said, or it was showing all the players who have played, what is it, his 21st season?
Yeah.
And it was like, whoever it was, like Vince Carter and all
Carter,
these guys
Dirk.
averaged like 7 points a game was like the highest. And this dude's averaging like, 26, 27 points?
Yeah.
It's a regular night.
Yeah, he's just.
Did you guys see? I forget who posted it on Twitter, X, whatever. Literally a full like shot chart of his whole 40,000 point career. It's literally just do.
Oh, I didn't see that shit.
I'll pull it up and I'll send it to you right now. But that shit is fucking. It's
It's
crazy.
it's
It's
nuts.
crazy to put in perspective.
He had all that hype around him.
Who was it? Michael Porter? Someone was guarding him too.
It was
like,
Michael Porter.
Yeah, and he's like, and it's not like he just did it against a bum. It's like some fucking young 26-year-old first round pick
Oh, I know.
crosses him like it's nothing, finishes up beautifully with his left hand. Like,
Probably got fouled, no call.
and just going back, if you really like back in the day, the best thing about LeBron is he developed every single one of his weaknesses. Everyone would say it, like Kobe and Jordan would be like, oh, you got to force him to go left. And how does he score his 40,000th point? Crosses a young dude left like it's nothing.
Yep.
Fucking. He couldn't shoot threes. He's 7th all time in 3 points made. I mean,
he's shooting a way higher percentage. I don't know about way higher, but he's shooting a higher percentage than Curry.
just everything that he couldn't do, he can do. Like everything he couldn't do, he figured out how to do. He's done it in every way. I mean, it's just it's unbelievable, man. 40,000 points.
Yeah. The fact that he's just still this good and is like can drag this Lakers team to the playoffs like he is, it's unbelievable, honestly.
He's hit from everywhere on the floor, dude. It's
like I said, he had all the hype around him, the most hype probably any player's had in any sport, and lived up to it and then some.
The most pressure, because we talked about it yesterday, bro. Literally didn't even. Well, he obviously was declaring for the draft and everything. Obviously, we knew the Cavs had the first overall pick, so technically we didn't know where he was going to get drafted, right? Before the NBA draft. Sports Illustrated, yeah, you're the chosen one, brother.
Yeah, it's nuts.
You're 18 years old. You're the chosen one.
yeah, I mean, and he didn't do it.
He stayed out of trouble. Like, I mean,
And you know how easy it is for like a young kid, especially you. Everyone telling you in that industry, yeah, you're going to be the next one. You're going to be the best all time. You're going to be the chosen one. They don't get to your head. It's insane. Because it would for me. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I can't. The way that he's been his whole career, you just never see him like out. He's never in like any scene of getting in trouble or near any of that shit. It's crazy how he's lived up to the hype on and off the court.
And even like it's pretty normal to see these kids now at 18 be able to handle the media and not get in trouble now because they know, but it's only because they're going off the backs of all these people who fell because of that, who were so immature. LeBron didn't have that. It's not like he had this new system. To young kids, it might seem like, oh, they're all coached by the time they're 18, 19, and they're going through this AAU stuff. LeBron didn't have that. He didn't have that infrastructure that these kids have now, where their agents are telling them how they need to conduct interviews, and they're doing mock interviews in high school. That wasn't the way LeBron grew up. LeBron grew up in 2003, where fucking Dipset and G Unit were the biggest. Like being a gangster was cool, and no one coached him to do that. He just innately, as an 18-year-old kid, fucking.
They even asked him, what would you tell your 18-year-old self? And he said nothing. He was like, I had a great head on my shoulders and blah, blah, blah. Like, and he really did. Like, he really just was ready for that. Like, he was the chosen one, and it was the right choice. Like, that shit.
Really?
I don't know. It's definitely impressive. What'd you guys think of him saying, like, everybody wanted him to fail or expected him to fail?
Corny.
He kind of turned that into that.
Yeah.
But
I don't really want to get into like some of his off the court antics that I'm not as big of a fan of.
Obviously, people.
I think there's some people want.
Everybody wants everybody to fail, or there's always haters for everybody. So
Right.
I think there's a lot of people who also want to see him do well.
As someone who grew up on LeBron was everyone's favorite. Like he was like everyone. At least maybe it was just my school, but everyone. I don't think until Miami did he become a villain who someone wanted to hate. I think in Cleveland, everyone loved LeBron. I mean, at that point, we were looking for a person to be the best player because Kobe started going through all the drama, so he never like truly took that mantle of the face of the NBA. Tim Duncan was too boring for some people. That's my favorite player. I'm not saying anything bad about him. But like it was already he already had all the hype and the magazines. And the NBA needed a face. I mean, they needed a face. Shaq was starting to get fat, and all the best players had something else about them, and they needed someone, and LeBron immediately came in and took that mantle, and I think everyone loved him before he went. If he would have stayed in Cleveland, I don't think he would have ever had a
He didn't
villain.
become a villain until he did the decision and went to Miami.
I think
they turned him to the villain. He didn't even like want to take that persona on. They're like, okay, if that's how you're gonna be talking to me, then I'm just gonna go out here and ball out and win some championships.
Yeah.
And y'all just gonna have to.
And people forget, what was he, like 24 when he did
was
that?
young,
Yeah, because I mean, it was like he was on Cleveland for what, 6 years?
Nah, something like that.
Yeah. So I mean,
Then he went back and made everything right, won a championship for Cleveland.
He's like, all right, y'all enjoy that. I'm gonna go to LA.
Won with the Lakers.
yeah, I mean,
He's getting a statue everywhere.
that I think is a little crazy, but I'm not.
Won a title everywhere he went.
Yeah, but I don't think winning a title. I don't think winning a title, especially in LA. I think LA has bigger standards. I don't think he should get
I
a.
think because he got the most points ever and the 40,000 plus the NBA title with LA.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they'll do it, but
Shaq was just saying it the other night.
he was saying he should get one.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
If Shaq says it, then I'm with it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you
I'm
can't,
not
you
arguing.
can't
with
argue.
Shaq,
No.
yeah.
Because
I
he's
really-
normally the one that's like, he sets the Lakers
Yeah.
standard.
Yeah, he
It's
don't
like, you
play
know what
around.
it is and everything, but like if he says you get a statue out in front of crypto.com or you're good.
I don't know. The one thing I wish, not even the decision, looking back at that, the only thing I would change is I just wish he would have just stayed with Cleveland. I mean, I wish the second time he went to Cleveland, I wish he would have stayed there. I think this would as cool and amazing as this all is, I think it would have been so much cooler for him to do that in Cleveland. But that's just picking hairs. I mean, splitting hairs. That's just splitting hairs. It's amazing. I don't believe it will ever be done again. And if it is, it's because like the NBA, like sports are like, oh, it's 2050. We need to start allowing androids in the NBA, and people play for fucking 80 years or whatever.
Yeah, then there's like 120 game seasons.
Yeah, like that's. I mean, with the way they showed. The only player I can see is Luka. I do like offenses are being allowed to just basically play at will. Luka already has like 10,700 points. He's only 25 years old. But like I said, unless there's crazy advances in medicine, LeBron had everything. He had the skill to do it, and he had the body to last. You look at these guys with like Luka does not have. He's not going to be scoring fucking 30 points at 40 years old.
You miss 1 year with a season-ending injury. Now you're way behind trying to catch LeBron because he never missed. And then also coming back from that injury and still being able to play at a high level.
And you're going to have to play 70 games a year.
Yeah.
I mean, before
LeBron played every year.
Yeah, and until LeBron turned 35, he was playing at least 70. He's playing 65 to 70 games at least every year. So I just don't. It needs to be a perfect storm. I don't think Luka has the body to stand up to it, and I don't think anyone else has the skill to get to it.
No,
I mean,
I don't think
they showed.
No one else stands out to me that will have that longevity.
Like,
I think
you look at
do some crazy shit.
Yeah,
but it won't be the shit like that we're talking about right now.
But even when, like I said, something can change. They can make the NBA even softer than it is right now, and there'll be no. Look at Wemby. There's no way a guy that skinny 20 years from now is still scoring 27, 28 points a game.
Yeah, but for all we know, 40 years from now, we could look back at this and be like, you idiots.
Yeah, there's a player right now we don't even know who's like 10 years old putting shots up right now. And that he might be the next chosen one.
Well, the great thing that LeBron showed us is no record is unbreakable. So, I mean, like I said, it's gonna be more medicine than it is skill. I mean, it's going to be more medicine and rule changes because LeBron played in the early 2000s when defense was still relevant. He played it now, and he did it all. Someone else will have to have like divine intervention, in my opinion. You're gonna have to change the game so every game looks like the All-Star game, and medicine's you're gonna have to be able to fucking inject stem cells in a knee and fix an ACL immediately or something like that, and then maybe someone so no one's gonna do it the way LeBron done it.
He just tore his ACL. Oh shit! Look, he's coming.
He'll be back in 3 weeks. So, yeah, man. Hats off to LeBron. I've been a LeBron hater in the past. I've been a LeBron second best player in the world guy. But
who you got, KD, bro?
Oh, no one that's ever played with him. I meant the second best player ever.
Oh,
No, LeBron, no.
there was that for a
There's
little
no one in the conversation with LeBron. I think that's been ridiculous. Since Kobe tore his Achilles, no one has been in
They
LeBron's
tried. They
conversation.
did Curry, KD,
They tried
Greek.
it all.
Yeah,
They-
that's just-
no. I mean, Greek got in the conversation when LeBron turned 37. You know, like Joker and them are in the conversation right now. But in
But the fact that
in
LeBron's
LeBron's
still-
prime, no.
LeBron even right now is still can compete with those guys. Is
Yeah,
insane, so.
yeah.
literally.
Until I don't know what year you want to count as like LeBron finally kind of looking like he aged.
I don't know if that will. I really don't know if it's gonna happen.
No, it's happened. I mean, LeBron in his prime would be could be on any of the 32 teams that make them a playoff team. Like, and he could be on 17 teams that make them an NBA contender. The fact that he's like struggling to make the playoffs now and stuff is a sign of his age. Is he still amazing? Yes, but he's not the guy where I'm. If you take 2012 LeBron and put him on the worst team in the league, at worst they're an 8 seed. I don't care. He was that fucking good.
I mean, look at the team he took to the finals with the Cavs.
Yeah, he was that good. So he
17.
Yeah, when they got swept by the Spurs or whatever, it's like that team was horrible. Fucking Bowie Miles or fuck they had Bowie Gibson.
I think
Money
Varejao.
Mo.
Varejao was
Yeah.
good, man. Varejao was an all-star. Ilgauskas was an all-star.
Because of LeBron.
No, he was an all-star after.
Them dudes suck, man.
Mo Williams is great.
Yeah, he's great.
Money Mo.
Definitely wasn't a finals team, but they had some players. But yeah, so that as much as
LeBron scored 27 straight points to beat the Pistons.
I know,
Running across the fucking court,
I
Tayshaun
know.
chased him, just hitting a fadeaway in his face.
I know.
You think it was because of fucking?
No, I just fucking said it. No, don't fucking no. I don't think it's because of it. No, don't fucking do that. I just fucking gave him all the flowers in the world.
He just did it.
No, but I think that's a sign of his aging. I think offenses are allowed so much now. I think that helps him score 27 at his age. Not that it's not amazing, but the fact that the Lakers aren't a top 3 seed is a testament to him being a little bit older.
Right, no, for sure.
I get it. Yeah. I can see
Yeah,
that.
but like I said, until he hit that age, whatever age you want to put that at, then Giannis and Joker kind of passed him. But in his prime,
Yo, Joker ain't
no
gonna
one-
watch just because he don't care that much.
it's crazy.
He doesn't care that much.
he's the fucking best. But yeah, I mean, people hate LeBron so much that they try to say that KD was in his conversation and that Steph was in the conversation. They just weren't. I'm sorry. There's nothing you can say. At KD's peak, he wasn't. He wasn't even close.
No.
He's never half the passer LeBron was. All he could do was shoot better. He wasn't getting to the rim as good as LeBron was. He doesn't make the decisions that LeBron does. Doesn't have the hardware that LeBron does. He was never there. No one was. It's just like Jordan. No one ever was at these guys' levels. Anyone who's in the GOAT conversation, there's just nothing.
Done.
It's done. It's LeBron. It's Jordan.
Since Kobe died, everybody wants to like start putting him up there. It's kind of weird to me. That's a topic we could talk about another day.
I think Kobe's peak. This is what I'm saying. There's players whose peaks have been close to LeBron's. I think Kobe's peak and LeBron are very on par, in my opinion. But Kobe wasn't that good for that long. So like, what Kobe's peak lasted 6 years. LeBron's peak lasted 15. I mean, when you're talking about all time, you have to include that. I'm a Kobe lover. I think Kobe.
Yeah, he's my favorite player, bro. I'm gonna be like every time the GOAT debate is talking, I'm just like
he can't.
I don't care if he's in there. I'm biased, and I'm gonna just toss him in there. He might not be it, but we're gonna fucking talk about him in this conversation.
As long as you
Just
had him in there
because.
before he passed away. A
Yeah.
lot of people all of a
He's
sudden
the reason.
like,
He's the reason I'm a Lakers fan.
it was like
So
Kobe
it's
died, and all of a sudden he became as good as Jordan
Right.
and LeBron. When a lot of people weren't saying that when he was alive. That's my only
Yeah.
issue.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
08 Kobe is as good as anyone's ever been. I mean, like I get Paul Gasol's really good, and a lot of people want to take away from how good he was to say that Lakers team was bad. But the rest of those guys, I mean, Derek Fisher's good. They were good role players. Kobe did that without a true elite second guy. He fucking Dwight Howard went through LeBron and couldn't get through Kobe. Kobe's peak needs to be respected more, but his longevity, like that's what I'm saying. I mean, for Kobe to be that good, he had to train so hard that by the time he turned 35, he was done.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron somehow was able to do that and still be healthy. Like his Achilles didn't blow out from underneath him. Like I don't know. Kobe cannot. To me, it's LeBron and Jordan. I mean, if you want to pick whoever you want for number 1 and number 2, it has to be them. I mean, there's no one else in that conversation.
All I'm saying is that, like you said, he's got that time period for him has got to be respected. Even his whole career has got to be respected. And he might not be the GOAT or in that conversation, but he's got to get that respect he deserves. Because, like, even the whole Mamba mentality shit, it's like he's dead and gone now, but, like, you see some other superstar athletes picking up that mentality, and it was heavily influenced by him. And also, like, back then, they thought he couldn't do shit without Shaq, so that's why it's a little more impressive, because he's like, all right, y'all doubt me here, and he put that extra work in, and look where it got him.
Yeah, turning the page from number 8 to number 24 and proving that he can, like, be – I forgot his reasoning for that, but, like, for me it was always, like, to prove that he could do it without Shaq type thing. Like, Kobe's definitely the man. Like I said, it was just more so that people who weren't valuing him as high, like how you do, you were probably saying the same things regardless. But then there's people, like, I guess because he passed, that maybe felt like they wanted to respect him more or something.
Oh, and I definitely see that. I see that when it happens.
I love Kobe. I enjoyed watching Kobe, and, like, I loved that the Olympic Netflix special, how he came in.
That was really
like, without him, we probably don't win that or whatever. But yeah, LeBron and Jordan for sure for me.
Kobe, I'm not going to say it was my favorite. Kobe was my favorite player to watch and, like, my least favorite player in the NBA at the same time. I hated Kobe just because I hate the Lakers. But just, I mean, I love that I got to watch him play. And after I kind of got over the hate of the Lakers, like, I mean, one of the most exciting moments in basketball for me is watching that dude drop 60 in a game that meant really absolutely nothing. Like, his last game, I'm sitting in my living room in Arizona, and I'm fucking going crazy. And then when Kobe got that, when he got in that level, there was no one that's ever been better. I mean, there was times when he was in the Lakers, when he dragged them to an 8 seed, when they had fucking a bunch of guys who shouldn't even have been in the NBA, where he would be tripled and hitting threes in people's faces. I mean, I think that conversation needs to be had by non-biased people, because the NBA, more than any sport, fans are the most disrespectful. There's people who don't like LeBron and will be like, yeah, he's top 10, but he's not that great. I mean, people in the NBA
points.
yeah, people in the NBA, or fans in the NBA, sorry, will disrespect the fuck out of whoever they need to bring their point across. That's why I do not, outside of this room, I will not talk Jordan versus LeBron. I won't, because I can trust Harry and Joe to have, like, a real conversation about it. But what you see happen is, for some reason, even though they're the only two players that deserve consideration for the GOAT, they'll find 15 fucking reasons for why both of those guys sucked. Yeah. Where it's like if you just can have a non-biased conversation, Kobe's got to be in your top 10. Jordan and LeBron got to be your top 2, regardless of how you put it. I mean, if you love longevity, LeBron's got to be 1. If you love peak, I feel like Jordan's got to be 1. But you got to give these guys that respect, and that's how I determine whether I'll talk to someone about basketball. If you're gonna tell me Kobe's not a top 10 player, I think that's fucking mind blowing.
Yeah, that's just stupid.
And people are having this conversation, trying to put Steph above Kobe now. Somehow Steph is top 5, which I think is fucking ridiculous, and I give all the respect in the world to Steph. Not close to the top 5, in my opinion.
The only thing Steph has over Kobe is he did something to change the game. He's one of the few people that changed the game. That's Steph's number 1 stat.
Yeah.
He's the best shooter ever, and he changed the game as far as, like, how you even see, like, kids, the way they play in the gym today. They're pulling up from half court and shit, shooting air balls because they suck. But, like, Steph's got them doing shit that, Kobe didn't really change the game because he kind of, like, took copied Jordan's game, which is amazing that he could do that. But yeah, there's no way Steph's better than Kobe. Like, that's just silly as fuck to say.
Yeah, and
they had to hide Steph from fucking Fred VanVleet in the finals because he couldn't check him. Like, come on, Kobe would be on Fred VanVleet's ass. He'd put him right in his fucking pocket.
Yeah,
even if you told him game plan, just go get off him.
Yeah, the fuck
game plan. I'm going after it.
Yeah, so that's that. I mean, that people saying that just they're silly, but and that's not a disrespect to Steph Curry. Like you said, we know how fucking good he is.
Yeah. Like the NBA fans are both the most disrespectful and the most prisoner of the moments, for sure. Absolutely. I think that's just what it is. It's like now there's no conversation. Steph's the best point guard ever. Magic Johnson's not even in the conversation. Still like weird shit like that. So, end of the day, this is about LeBron. 40,000 fucking points, triple, quadruple, whatever the fuck they want to call it.
A lot of points,
a lot of assists, a lot of rebounds. Top 5 in assists and points. Unbelievable. And just It's a little late, but if you've been a LeBron hater, watch the next season or two and enjoy it.
Literally.
Stop looking for reasons to say he's worse than Kobe and everyone else. Just watch him for who he is, because you're not going to see this again, man. Like, you're not. Even the people coming behind him.
Yeah.
It's like, I love Luka, so talented, but he needs to show me he knows how to win.
And if he does it, congrats, but you got a long road ahead of you.
LeBron knew more about winning at 19 than I feel like Luka does now, 4 years in.
The only player that I think, I mean, they're not going to catch LeBron, but I think is like got that dog in him is SGA. There's something about SGA like, I don't know, like it reminds me of those guys like Kobe, and I don't know, I could see him like willing this OKC team in a couple of years to a championship or something. I don't know that Luka can. He does he scores and shit, but he doesn't play defense, and he's always crying about shit. I don't know. We'll have to see with Ant-Man where he goes. He didn't even show up on time last night. He said he lost track of time, so that he missed the start of the game. He came off the bench.
Yeah, and
So like,
I think Wemby's got it.
yeah, like Kobe and them dudes would never. They're the
That's
first ones
crazy.
in the gym. You know what I
Right.
mean? Guys like Ant-Man lost track of time. And that's why you can't beat Jordan, LeBron, and Kobe.
Yeah, I think Wemby's got it in him. Apparently, even though the Spurs are terrible, he's like, no, I'm trying to win every fucking game. Like,
Yeah,
we're
he's
not
an
doing this
animal.
tanking stuff, and he's
Somebody
already putting
people are
up-
going to go and play with him.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're going to be bad for long.
For what he's doing right now, I think, this is the reason that Luka, as good as I think he is, and I think statistically will finish as a top 10 player of all time. He plays like James Harden, and Joe gave me a ton of shit a couple years ago when I first said that, but he does. It seems like he plays for numbers more than he plays to win. And the thing that will separate, look, he has way better stats than LeBron through their first 4 years. It's not even close. This is another reason why the NBA is talking about it. It's going to get worse. I mean, as these kids get older, and they're like, "What are you talking about? Luka's better than LeBron, or LeBron's better than Luka. Luka's better in every single stat." And you're gonna have to be like that. Basketball stats are not the fucking end all be all. LeBron always made the right play. And that's why every time outside of that Dallas series, he won a championship, and then he ran into obviously the Warriors, which was a completely different conversation. But that's what Luka hasn't figured out yet. And I think Wemby is already doing that. Wemby's numbers are nuts, but I also feel like he's doing the right play to win the game. When I watch him play, I'm not thinking like, oh, there's another empty stat. I'm thinking like, damn,
his defensive presence is
yeah,
crazy.
he got the stop when it was needed. He put a bucket in when it was needed. That's what's gonna determine who takes over for LeBron. I mean, and Joker. That's why he won. I mean, Joker doesn't have the best team around. It's a really good team. Obviously, it's not
He
a bad
makes
team.
those guys so
But
good,
he makes those guys better. He makes winning plays. He does not care if he gets an assist or if he gets a bucket or. He makes the best play. He'll box a guy out and let someone else get the rebound. It just this was my complaint with Russ because I thought he did a lot of empty stats even though he was a dog too. But anyway, we're ranting now. Congrats to LeBron. Congrats to Caitlyn Clark. Tons of history being made. Excited for the rest of the NFL draft season. When's the draft? April
27th.
Yeah, so we got about
like a month.
almost 2 months.
March Madness is about to start. That's my time of the year. My favorite.
Yeah, March
my favorite
Madness.
time of the sports is March Madness.
Hell yeah.
March Madness and draft season to me being put together is like unbeatable.
Yeah.
Unbeatable. As bad as the guys' season this year might be, I can't fucking wait.
The tournament makes everything better.
Yeah.
No matter
It's like
what.
it's so wide open too, because this is the time of year I started to learn about the teams and shit before the tournament. It's like so far everywhere that I hear, no clear cut at all.
Yeah, it's really not.
Just a little plug. I'll do a little plug for Tank Talk too. Tank Talk is doing March Madness again. Is this a second year, third year?
Second year doing it. Yeah.
Second year doing it free.
It's for free. I'll take it from here.
Okay, go ahead.
So head over to the ESPN Tournament Challenge app. You can find our group, Tank Talk Madness. There's a password to get in there. It's all caps, no spaces. Tank Talk. Best bracket. Get some Tank Talk merch. Anything from our website. We're thinking of doing up to 2 items.
All
Up to
right.
2 items. We're trying to get this thing going, man. We're trying to get a bunch of people to join. 1 bracket per entry. So you really got to draw this shit out. So.
That's cool.
All right, cool. And then for us, Harry has been doing a bracket for probably a fucking 30 years now. But we're going to ingratiate it with Trap Nerd. It's going to be the Trap Nerd March Madness bracket to go along with our fantasy leagues. It's a $50 buy-in, but payouts, 1 through 4?
It just depends how many we get, yeah, but that's what we've been going with.
Okay, so yeah, 1 through
The
4.
more we get, the more we pay out. But.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about, I'm not going to do it this year because it's a little short notice, but I think I'm going to start something like the guy in East Aurora that we do. I think that's a really cool bracket. It's a little different, the 1 through 16.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, just for this year, Tank Talk. What was the bracket called again? Just Tank Talk Podcast.
Tank Talk Madness.
Tank Talk Madness. Password Tank Talk. All one word, all caps.
Yes, sir.
We will get you passwords and stuff for Harry's coming on up. But it's that season, man. Start paying attention. You don't want to be that guy that's left out and just picking random teams. Or maybe you do, because sometimes those guys win. Sometimes those guys win. I mean, Noah last year somehow ended up with 3 of the Final 4, which no one who watched college basketball would ever have picked those teams. Maybe UConn, but like he had San Diego State and Florida. Was it Florida Atlantic?
Yeah, Florida Atlantic, San Diego State, Miami. And,
yeah, he didn't have Miami. He had the other 3.
Florida Atlantic.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Or maybe he had Miami, not Florida Atlantic. Either way, he had 3.
Give him his flowers. He had Florida Atlantic.
I can probably go back and check. Unbelievable. But yeah, get to watching some college basketball, women's college basketball. If you're sexist, stop doing that. It's a lot of fun. Conference tournaments sometimes are more fun than March Madness. I mean, I wouldn't say that, but they're close.
Some people I just seen
conference tournaments are
dude
awesome.
On Twitter I follow said he actually likes the conference tournaments more.
Conference tournaments are sick.
Yeah, because the rivalries that go into them. So.
Yeah, it's more.
And this is the last year. I mean, conference tournaments are gonna be so fucking stupid next year. You're gonna have
dominate the last Pac-12 tournament.
You're gonna have UCLA playing fucking Ohio State, and it's
it might
dumb.
be cool as fuck.
No, I think it's dumb. That's what you have March Madness for.
No, I get
you
it.
can see the East Coast teams play the West Coast teams and see matchups you've never seen. These conferences are the worst thing about college sports across the board: football, basketball, all of it. But fuck it, for one more year, we got all of the right conferences, conference championships, regional rivalries. Just enjoy it while it lasts, guys. Thank you guys for listening. Trap Nerd Sports, we out.
Peace.